You're listening to The Drew Yari Show.
Alright, we are ready to go in 3, 2, 1. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Wednesday. We're recording maybe like an hour and a half early while Dynamite's going on, so we're competing against Dynamite tonight. And I'm Drew Yari. What was that?
Tough sell.
Tough sale. We're competing against Dynamite tonight. It's going to be me and me. It's going to be the two Andrews. A double dose of Andrews going up against Dynamite. How can they compete? How can they compete, Andrew KARLUK?
I don't know. I don't know about that, Drusive.
Drusive. And of course, I'm joined again by Andrew KARLUK. How you doing, man?
Not too bad. How about you? Did you have a good week?
Yeah, my week was pretty good. I got a new schedule at work. It's not too bad. I'll be having weekends off. Working Monday through Friday. 10 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. So it shouldn't affect the show. So other than that, kind of had a scary moment before we came on. So we started at 7:30. Usually I like to get everything ready at least an hour beforehand. Like get my equipment, like to turn the laptop on and see if there's any issues, and had everything out. And I was plugging in my charger to this small little outlet that we have by our bed. And I just see a spark out of nowhere, and all the power in the house goes out.
You do the show in the bed?
Well, yeah. Well, I don't have a computer room, or like an office, so to speak. So I'm literally on my bed or on our bed recording. So yeah. It gets pretty uncomfortable sometimes. So if I'm lucky, I'll have the living room to myself. But
do you ever get fresh during the show or anything?
Do I ever get what?
Do you ever get fresh during the show or anything?
It depends on what you mean by fresh.
I mean, with a significant other.
Can't deny nor confirm that.
All right, cool.
But it'd make for a good show. So yeah, all the power went out, and we have this like breaker, box that's in the next room that we usually use in case anything like that happens. And for the life of me, I didn't know how to use it, so I'm calling my girl. I'm like, hey, can you come home? I don't know how to use this thing. And she was like not too far from me, but I'm just like, it's already 7:10. Like it was like 7:10, 7:15. I'm like, shit, we gotta do the show already, and my phone's already dying. So like, I know you told me in the past, like if I had had problems recording, you can just like record for me. But my phone was dying, so there was no way I would have been able to record on my phone. So I just was like, okay, I'm gonna have to teach myself this shit. So I literally just started flipping a bunch of switches, and I got to the right one. So all the power came back on. So yay. There's a show, people. There's a show.
That's like once several years ago, I had to explain to my wife 3 times in a row how to switch to the DVD player. So now I just tell her, I know you don't know how to switch to the DVD player, but give it a shot. And that makes her so mad. I was for the first night of Wrestlemania, I was at someone's house watching it.
Mm-hmm.
So she had texted me like, "Don't laugh at me, but how do I switch to Peacock out in the living room?" And by the time I answered her, she had actually figured it out. But I was like, this is great.
Yes, Hiroshima, I had to teach myself to flip a switch. I'm helpless, okay? I'm a helpless man-child. I'm lucky Go ahead.
It stands to reason if you took out your power by plugging something in, you might as well learn how to fix it.
Yeah, I mean, you learn something new every day, and, I can't just get by on these ridiculously good looks. I have to know how to do things every now and then. There you go.
Something like that.
Something like that. But, yeah, we had a busy week for us wrestling fans. was a busy week. Busy week. Lots of wrestling, not just... oh, by the way, RJ said he will be here in a few minutes, so you'll get to meet my friend RJ. Good dude. You'll love him. But busy week for wrestling, not just for WWE, but you also had Ring of Honor. They had a show on Friday, which I've been trying to watch. I don't know why should we say trying, but like I've been wanting to watch the Briscoes FTR match because I know you were like over the moon about it. You were texting me saying it was probably the greatest tag team match you've ever seen. Everybody else loves it. I want to watch it. I want to give it a chance. I'd like to be open-minded. So again, eventually I will watch the match and I'll let you guys know what I think. Yeah. Of course, like I said, Ring of Honor had their show on Friday, and I know there were a bunch of other shows, but for the most part, WWE kind of took over the weekend. So, do you want to talk about the Hall of Fame first? Hello? Andrew KARLUK. And I think we lost Andrew. Andrew KARLUK. Oh, poo. Hopefully his power didn't go out. Hold on, let me text him real quick. So yeah, anyways, that was too much dead air. Hold on. Let me see if that's him. No, unfortunately, that is not him. But I'll talk about the Hall of Fame for a little bit, and then hopefully we can get Andrew back on. But the Hall of Fame I enjoyed. I ended up watching it late. I wasn't able to watch it live because we went to the movies to go see Morbius, and oh boy, I can save that review for a different show. But all in all, Morbius is not a very good movie. I'll save you the trouble. It's not a very good movie. So we ended up getting home like a little late and watched the Hall of Fame because I was off the whole weekend. It lasted until 1 a.m. I was watching until 2 a.m. So, and that's just The Undertaker, which we'll get to The Undertaker. But watched the Hall of Fame, got to see the Steiners. Everybody, seemed very happy to see Scott back. I mean, they should because, he's a legend. My Discord shut down, trying to bring it back. That's what Kyle just texted me. So, I'm going to wait for him to get back. In the meantime, and hold on. Anyways, yeah, everybody seemed happy for Scott. Scott, for a guy who is the way who he is the way he is, he's a very liked person in wrestling. Because he specifically goes up to Randy Orton, and Randy Orton is just over the moon to see Scott Steiner back. And even Austin Theory shook his hand, and Scott Steiner shook his hand back. I kind of wanted more out of that. I know Scott wasn't gonna go into business and go crazy and say fuck Triple H and fuck Stephanie and blah blah blah. Because he's there because his nephew is there. I wouldn't be surprised if you found out that Scott didn't really make peace with Triple H. He's mainly just doing this to play nice for his nephew because he loves his nephew. So, but there was also a photo of him and Triple H posing together. So maybe I'm wrong. So Scott, talks. He tells a few stories. He talks about his wife and kids, and tells a story about Macho Man. And I think Rick Steiner's even so we had 5 minutes, and I only have 1 minute. Thanks a lot. Which sucks because the Steiners give the Steiners more time. And yeah, I know it's because Undertaker needed all the time in the world for his motivational speaking segment. But I don't know. It's the Steiners. Give them more time. Give them like 10 minutes. More time for Charmel. Jesus Christ. So there's that. Charmel, she had a good speech. I can't say anything bad about Charmel. The Warrior Award for Shad Gaspard. That was emotional. Me and the woman and her sister, we were watching it, and when they showed the package for Shad Gaspard, and they had that the guy doing the narrating for the video, it was really emotional. It was just he was a good guy, and he went out like a hero. He went out, not defending, but saving his son. He gave his life for his own son, and his last words were, "Save my son." Like, to me, that's something you can literally put on his headstone, and I wouldn't be surprised if they did. And I thought it was just going to be JTG, or I thought JTG was at least going to be a part of it. But he came out with Shad's widow and his wife, or not his wife, but his son, and he played around with the son. He did the the dice motion thing with his son they used to do with Shad. So it was a nice speech. Who else was in there? Oh yeah, Vader. The family of Vader came out, and again didn't. Very short speeches because all the time in the world had to go to Taker, which again, deservingly so. But it's just like some of these people probably could have benefited from having more time, and I think Taker could have easily given some of that time to like the Steiners or whatever. But there was that, and then we get to Taker, who, anyone in the chat, can you tell me how long that speech was? It felt like an hour. It felt like at least maybe 45 minutes. At least 45 minutes. It was a very long speech. Like, I wasn't expecting Taker to come out with the earpiece microphone deal and just give us life lessons. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, I'm watching this, I'm like, all right, this is some good stuff, and like I'm at the point where it's just like, how many fucking people does he have to thank? How many stories does he have? Like, how many life lessons does he have? It was too long. Like, it was a good speech. Like, if you're not even a young wrestler in the wrestling business, but like if you're just anyone, that's good advice, to take. He had some good stories and he had good advice, but at the same token, it's just like, it's 2:30 in the fucking morning. Like, can I go to sleep already? Like, I don't know, whatever. But again, good speech. Can't shit it. Sammy Guevara and Ty Conti are out doing the cue card thing. I'd be more interested just to see them fuck on live national television. Crap, I gotta reboot. Oh boy. So now KARLUK has to reboot his computer, I believe. Oh boy, this is a nice way to start the show. Damn it! Come on. Hold up. Like I mentioned, I'm on a bed recording. I gotta move around. But a good Hall of Fame. Recommend it to anyone. NXT Takeover happened, or not? Well, I keep wanting to call it Takeover. It's Stand and Deliver, and fine pay-per-view. I don't know why it had to be early in the morning, or like early in the afternoon. I guess that's kind of the good and bad thing of why WrestleMania is 2 nights. Like, they had to make it 2 nights because they were like, well, we can't put 13 matches on one show. We have to split it in 2. It's like, well, then don't put 13 matches on one show. Like, put 8 matches on. Like, 9 being the most. Because it's just like, I'm looking at this card, and I'm just already thinking to myself, there's like maybe 3 or 4 matches that look like TV matches that do not need to be on this show. And at least put maybe 2 of them on the pre-show. And there you go. Like, you don't need these matches. But we will definitely get to that whenever we get Mr. Andrew back on and when RJ comes back on. Or comes on, I mean. I won't get too much into WrestleMania because I'm waiting for him to come back. But I enjoyed WrestleMania. I thought this was probably the best WrestleMania in a while. Like, I can't even think about what the best WrestleMania was. Or the last best WrestleMania was, I'm sorry. Like, I guess maybe, like, the last, like, good WrestleMania was in 2008 when they were in Florida. Like, if you guys had to like pick, like, what in your opinion was like the last like good WrestleMania? What was the last good WrestleMania in your opinion? And Eddie Kingston and his crew are attacking Jericho. And Eddie Kingston is throwing a TV at them. Okay, that was random. I currently have Dynamite on because, like I said, we're competing with Dynamite. It's kind of my fault because I reminded Andrew at the last minute that we're doing a show. So usually I like to let everybody know, like, in advance, like, hey, don't forget we're recording at this time. So probably would have given him some time to reboot his computer. But the last good WrestleMania, yeah, it was probably, in my opinion, it was probably 2008 main event. Was what the fuck was the main event that year? All right, now we can get KARLUK back on. Any day now. Sorry, guys. But yeah, 2000. What was the main event that year? Oh, it was Edge versus Undertaker. That was the main event that year. That was also Shawn and Ric Flair with the I'm sorry, I love you, and then he super kicks him. Money in the Bank. That was when Punk won. Which, I don't know, they need to put Money in the Bank back on Mania. Like, I really don't care for it. Hey, what's up?
Hey,
Yo.
Sorry about that.
Hey, don't worry about it. No worries, man. But right before you cut off, I was asking you. Let's talk about the Hall of Fame.
Yes, let's.
All right. I was kind of talking about it briefly while you were dealing with your computer. What did you think about the Hall of Fame?
I enjoyed it. It's kind of weird it being so late. I didn't watch it till over the rest of the weekend, but I could imagine if you were there at SmackDown Live, it's kind of a lot to take in by, what was it, like 12:30, 1 o'clock by the time it all ended?
Hmm. I didn't get a chance to watch it live because we went to the movies and we left at 10. We came back like around 1-ish and watched it and didn't get done until like maybe 2:30. And again, all that was The Undertaker, like his speech. Yeah. But before I get to Taker, what'd you think about everybody else's speeches before Taker?
Charmel, it is what it is. It's
right.
Whatever. I will say there are a lot of other women I would rather see before her, But then again, you're talking about a Hall of Fame that already had the Bella Twins and Coco Beware in it, so worthiness doesn't really come into the conversation.
True.
But the Steiner brothers, top 2 or 3 tag team of all time for me, so I was glad to see that. Who else do we have?
Vader.
Vader, I felt like, because Vader knew, like, he was told he had 2 years to live. I feel like they should have tried to do that within those 2 years while he was still alive and could actually have made it. Because what he had to say would have been really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
There was a point where I considered Vader to be the best big man I'd ever seen. I mean, this was in his WCW days when he was in that '93 where he was just absolutely fucking dominant. And then Shad is the Warrior Award. I mean, I feel like the Warrior Award was created for someone like Shad. I feel like it was cool to see JTG come out with the family, and I know that it's, Dana Warrior's way that she has to remind people that she laid down for the Ultimate Warrior. But I think JTG should have done that speech. I think he obviously knows more about him, knew him better. That would have been perfect. I did laugh when Dana Warrior came out, and she pointed up at heaven, obviously at Warrior. I'm like, he ain't up there.
Oh, come on. He was a saint.
Something like that.
Satan. I'm playing. Anyways, go ahead.
Heyo.
Heyo. But Shad's, I was a little surprised. I was kind of like, surprised that JTG didn't do most of the talking. Like, didn't have a problem with the wife doing it, because, that's his wife, and, they share just as many intimate moments as JTG did. I was more shocked that JTG wasn't a part, with her up there talking. You know what I mean?
I feel like if it was an induction into the Hall of Fame, like an actual induction, then JTG probably would have had more of a role there.
Right.
But the fact that it's really more honoring his last moments and what he did, his family speaking, I had no problem with that. I think that was the right thing to do.
Right. It was a nice speech, though. I mean, me and the missus and her sister were watching it, and we saw the video, and there wasn't a dry eye in that room. Like, it was a very well done, very emotional interview or video. I mean,
yeah.
Everybody else, they had good speeches. I was saying I thought the Steiners probably should have gotten more time.
I was gonna say one more thing on Chad. His wife isn't overly charismatic, but then again, it's not like she's a performer,
Right.
So, she was fine for what she did. But yeah, I felt the Steiners should have more time. I feel like they kind of rushed them all to get to Undertaker.
Yeah. I was just like, oh boy, fuck it, let's just get to Taker already. So, how long was
the whole thing should have been Undertaker? You should have had people come out and talk about him and do 7 or 8 smaller inductions for him, and then let him come out. It's like whenever Triple H goes in, I feel like that's something they should do for him. Like, it should be, these guys that you would say should have a wing in the fictional Hall of Fame building. The Hall of Fame should just be that guy.
Yeah, it's just like, how long was Taker's speech, by the way?
Probably 45, 50 minutes. I didn't time it, but I'm really big on motivational quotes and inspirational quotes and stuff like that, and he fucking littered that speech with it. I'm literally gonna watch it again and write some of them down.
Oh, don't get twisted, guys. I love the speech. I thought it was good. When you're thinking of Undertaker, and now, he's a lot more out in the open, he's more vocal. Sorry. He's a lot more vocal. Joe Rogan. Telling young guys that they're soft and that they play too many video games. I'm just fucking around. But, yeah,
Hey, you know what? That's true, but you know what? There's going to be less of people from this generation that are going to die of drug abuse.
Yeah, exactly. And, he's obviously very well spoken. He's very articulate. But it's just when you're thinking of Undertaker, you're not thinking of, hey guys, get through the day. Don't, live life, love. It's wasn't expecting that to come in your mouth, Mark, but, teach his own. Let me get RJ on real quick.
Yeah, but you go to a Hall of Fame and you're not expecting someone to be in character, generally speaking. So,
right.
I'm fine with that, and it's the one chance he has to really talk about his philosophy of life. And It's a good philosophy. I mean, it works for him, and he's an inspiration to how many thousands of people that have or tried to get into wrestling.
Hey, what's going on, RJ?
Nothing much. And how dare Undertaker not appreciate the greatness of Tekken?
Andrew, RJ, Andrew.
Hey, man.
Nice to meet you, Andrew.
You too.
RJ, we were just talking about the Hall of Fame. What'd you think about the Hall of Fame overall?
I thought the Hall of Fame was definitely an interesting watch in a sense of seeing these different guys handle. And it's an interesting watch every year to see these guys handle themselves and really appreciate the celebration of their careers. Especially Scott Steiner. Holy shit. I did not expect the reaction, especially for a guy who's been vocal over the years about shitting on the Hall of Fame and shitting on Triple H and Stephanie. So that was pretty. That's pretty crazy to see him break down like that. It really was.
I noticed a lot of blank audio with Scott Steiner. I feel like whoever was on the button maybe was a little overzealous and thought he said something maybe he didn't. Because if you look back and you watch his mouth, like he didn't really say anything out there. But I feel like they were overly on the button in case he went a little loose cannon with his, adult language.
Yeah, and he even made a joke about it. He's like, you give me a live mic, it can either be a good or a bad thing. And then, Braun was even like, this is probably going to be the worst thing that I do in my career, but here are the Steiner brothers. But Scott. I think Scott was smart enough to know, like, I'm not going to fuck things up for my nephew.
Right.
I feel like, and I hope that this is kind of like the mending of the fence with Scott and the company, because if they could get Scott Steiner to do some teaching at the Performance Center, that would be quite beneficial, as long as he's not teaching math classes.
That's a good point, Andrew. That's a very good point. And plus, Scott Steiner has children of his own. I think he's got a couple of boys.
If you listen to Braun Breaker talk, you'd swear that he was Scott's son and not Rick's.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's just like, Rick, you might want to get a paternity test anytime soon. No rush. Let's.
My brother's girl. So what?
You are the father. God damn it! But RJ, what did you think about Undertaker's motivational speech?
I thought it was good. Now, I won't lie to you on this part. I was starting to work around the time the Undertaker had his speech, but what I saw of it, I thought it was good. And I know people got mad because he didn't name drop everybody. I mean, no. I'm sorry, unless you got a big long list that you want to read off in front of people, it's going to be a hard time to try to really show everybody throughout your whole entire career the love that you think they deserve.
Right.
Like I seen Noel Foley's post. You didn't list my dad. Yeah. Well, I mean, honey, he didn't list The Rock, and there's a couple other big major opponents that he didn't list off either. So,
well,
don't take it to heart.
He name dropped those that he's closest with, though. He name dropped Kane, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and then obviously like Godfather, BSK as a whole. Didn't really mention Savio Vega as part of that, but who remembers Savio Vega really these days?
Well, to be fair, I don't think Taker really had any big feuds with The Rock, but yeah, the thing with Mick, I was a little surprised by, and granted, I don't know if Taker came up with that speech on his own, or if you wrote it down or whatever, but I was a little surprised I didn't hear Mick Foley, because they had some pretty classic battles back then. Him not mentioning someone like The Rock makes sense. Go ahead.
Drew, I got it.
Huh.
Mick Foley is one of those soft wrestlers that Undertaker was talking about.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
There's the consensus there, and I'm not going to get political at all, but that Mick Foley is kind of a social justice warrior. And with the Undertaker's, stands going on Rogan and stuff like that, maybe he doesn't think too much of Mick Foley these days.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
I could definitely see that.
I hope that's not the reason, but it is what it is. I mean, he was up there for 45, 50 minutes, and I'm pretty sure he's going to forget things or people, because
yes.
I know one year when Rikishi won, and he forgot to mention Too Cool in his speech.
I thought that was done on purpose. Because wasn't he beefing with Too Cool at the time?
I think they were also persona non grata at the company at the time too.
Mm-hmm.
You mean Sky Too Hottie or just Christopher?
No, both of them.
I think both of them at the time.
Are you sure? Because wasn't Sky Too Hottie like working in the Performance Center by that time?
No, a little afterwards.
Yeah, no, this was that Rikishi was like maybe even before the Performance Center started.
Huh.
Yeah, Rikishi was like, what, 2012, 2013-ish?
Yeah, something like that.
No,
around that time.
I think he won it in 2015 because I remember that was the weekend that Roman was facing Brock for the first time at Mania.
I'm pulling it up right now.
Hey, what's going on, Kyle? So I don't know, but maybe it was done on purpose. But I like Taker's speech. I mean, he made some good points. He told some good stories because Taker loves wrestling. He loves WWE, and he wants to help out the younger wrestlers. I mean, regardless of how he feels about the soft generation and how everyone plays video games and doesn't go out and start brawl fights in bars or whatever. Like Taker really does want to help out the younger generation. I really believe Taker isn't saying I want these young guys to do drugs and drink and fuck random bitches without condoms and getting HIV. Like, no, I'm pretty sure that's not what he means. I'm pretty sure he means like, okay, you want to play video games, you want to read comic books, fine, that's a healthy way to stay alive, but just don't be so soft.
Like, take your career by the balls. Like, I think that's what he means too. Like, there's a lot of guys that walk around on eggshells, and I think he even said that on Austin's podcast.
Right. Yeah, it's just
there's a lot of guys that walk around on eggshells, and like that has to be like unsettling to a guy like him, especially
Come on. All right, saying it's connected. So, what are we doing here? Oh. Hold on. All right, I'm back. KARLUK. Yo.
All right.
The fucking power went out again. Lovely.
You've been dealing with power outages too?
Yeah, I was telling KARLUK, like, literally 20 minutes before the show started, I was plugging something into this outlet that's by our bed, because I record on my bed, and I just saw a spark, and all the fucking power in the house went out. So I went to this breaker box that we have in the room, the next room, and I just flipped a few switches, and everything came back on. So it's like, okay, cool. And then, as you can see, right when we're recording, the fucking power goes out again. So I don't know what the hell happened. But it got fixed, so that's a good thing. So hopefully this isn't a regular occurrence. I hope not.
Your new name is the Texas Tornado.
Texas Tornado. The Texas Tornado, Yari. Let's just hope I don't shoot myself in the chest. Anyways. Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame.
But I would like to do it like if they did it like last year, where it was like a standalone event. Of last year there was no people there, because this is the first time they've done it with people since SmackDown was on Friday nights. So it's definitely a different dichotomy. And I kind of like the standalone event where it was just that. But I feel like the crowd wasn't as into it because they already sat through 2 hours of not the greatest SmackDown.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's kind of the bad thing about having a 2-night WrestleMania is that the Hall of Fame should definitely be on Saturday, and then have Takeover like on a Friday, or I keep saying Takeover, not Stand and Deliver, but like just have Stand and Deliver on Wednesday, have the Hall of Fame on Saturday, and then have WrestleMania on Sunday.
That's too fucking much still.
That was an 8-hour WrestleMania if you put both those together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying like, they made it 2 nights because they want to put like 15 matches on the show, and they're like, well, we can't have 15 matches on one show. We had to split it in half. It's like, well, how's about you just not have 15 matches on one show? Pish posh.
Exactly.
How about you let Red Boot wrestle on SmackDown?
It's like the people are
tag team match either. Like, let's not pretend that those women's tag team championships mean anything,
right?
Because they don't.
No.
So why have this big old bang up mashup 4-way on WrestleMania when we haven't gave a shit about those titles all year long before then?
It's like, what? You're telling me? Good.
That did not needed to be on WrestleMania, and so it was both of the tag team title matches. Come on, man! Like, none of those matches needed to be. Those are Raw and SmackDown matches at best.
I like the Raw one. I thought the Raw one was.
Oh no, that one was good. That was the best one out of all the tag team title matches.
Yeah.
That was definitely good.
Right. We'll get to Mania a bit. Let's just kind of skim over Stand and Deliver. What do you guys think about Stand and Deliver?
Not as best.
I mean, it was fine for what I expected it to be, but
Yeah, I only watched half of it anyway, so.
Yeah, it was. It didn't help that it was on at 12 in the fucking afternoon. But probably again should have just been on a Wednesday. Should just have Stand and Deliver on a Wednesday. But what do I know?
Pay-per-view less than 3 hours automatically gives extra brownie points with me these days.
Yeah, right. It was kind of a weird pay-per-view, and also it was just. We'll get to Raw and we'll get to NXT. After we do Mania, but it was kind of a weird pay-per-view once you look at it.
Sorry.
No,
when you factor in NXT last night, it's even weirder. Raw and NXT, it's even weirder.
Yeah, especially the news that came out today, even more weird.
Right, you have that, but you also have titles that change again, or that change on Raw and NXT after Stand and Deliver. So it's like, what's the point?
It was kind of the way. Honestly, it was kind of a worthless pay-per-view once you look at it.
Yeah, it was no character development whatsoever, except for I guess Tony D'Angelo being the Don of NXT.
Hey.
Other than that, no real character development whatsoever.
Oh, that guy
The
sucks.
Triple H moment was neat, but that's about the only real takeaway I take from it.
You mean when Triple H came out and hugged his little brother? He hugged.
He's going to the main roster because he just fermented the gray out of his beard.
Yeah.
Good match, little brother. Let's go pick up John Silver from Jacksonville.
He's your replacement. Gotta have one bald bearded guy on NXT.
Oh man, but yeah, Stand and Deliver. I couldn't stand, and I don't think it really delivered. That's the best way to put it.
And plus, Nikita Lyons wasn't on it either. So I mean, nobody was definitely standing in, and nothing really delivered.
Got that right. All right, let's go to WrestleMania, boys. Let's do this.
Hey, you just mentioned the. I guess we'll talk about it later.
No, say it.
You just mentioned the Nash Carter thing.
We'll talk about.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about it after we get to NXT. So WrestleMania. WrestleMania was Saturday and Sunday. It was at the the AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Let's see, night one.
Where the Cowboys play, correct?
The Cowboys kind of play there.
Their home stadium.
Hey,
I'm a Chicago fan, man. That's fucking fine for me.
I try to like the Cowboys, but they just piss me off. So it's just like, if they win, cool. If they don't, then it's something I have to keep living with. Let's see. Night 1 drew 77,899. Night 2 drew 78,453. It was the most stupendous two-night event in WrestleMania history. They really like to level.
Where they got those 400 extra seats from?
I don't know. Ask Meltzer. I'm pretty sure he'll know. All right. Night 1. Night 1, the first match of the night was the Usos versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships.
They used to start a pay-per-view with a hot match that would actually get the crowd going, not one where someone tore his quad.
Yeah,
I swear to you guys, I was in the middle of cooking, right?
Mm-hmm.
I went to go to the kitchen to go check on my food. I come back and I see Rick Boogs. Oh! asked my little brother. I said, "Is this storyline?" He said, "Nah, it looks real. If it's a storyline, he's selling that shit really, really good." And then we found out later on that he actually really fucked something up. But I was like, "Wow, damn, just like that."
Especially because they got to this point by Rick Boogs faking a leg injury.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, he took it way too far, man.
Kind of right. Ooh.
That's what you get for not actually playing the guitar.
Oh man.
Yeah, this match.
And again, Elias actually played the guitar and it was never in tune, so maybe it's best that he doesn't play it.
Like, this screamed of this should have been on SmackDown.
Yes, definitely.
And not the opener of WrestleMania Night 1. But
there's some things like this match where these 2 night shows, they don't really do pre-show matches, but this should have been a pre-show match.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
I agree.
Parking lot.
Definitely.
This is the time where a pre-show match was needed.
Yeah.
Next match: Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin in a singles match.
Shit, I would argue this should have been a pre-show match.
Yeah, they don't get much better.
This was yeah, I mean, they love him some Happy Corbin up there, and Drew, he tries. So this this match wasn't really should have been a pre-show match. I probably would have just put it on SmackDown as like the main event of SmackDown. But
the only remotely notable thing is the fact that first time someone kicked out at the end of days, but I think I said last week when I was on with you that that's probably going to happen in this match anyways.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then Drew used his sword, kinda, maybe, somewhat. Like he used it to cut the ropes, quote unquote.
Ooh, big tough guy Drew McIntyre cut the ropes.
I cut the ropes.
I think something got fucked up with that third rope not going down because if you notice in the next match, the ropes are really wobbly, and so I don't think they put them back together the right way.
Yeah.
Like what? Go ahead.
That was corny, anyways.
Like it was just
whatever.
Like what a downgrade for Drew. He main events WrestleMania. He wrestles Bobby Lashley for the title last year to open the show, and then he has this match, and it's just like, oh boy.
Well, like I was saying too, at Royal Rumble, like they messed with the audio, but he got almost no reaction, and that was him coming back when he was quote unquote injured, and the people just didn't seem to give a shit about him. So maybe that has something to do with it.
Yeah, and Drew McIntyre, I mean, let's not forget when he was champion, the ratings wasn't good. I mean, they've been no better with anybody else, really, but like I think that between the rise of Bobby Lashley and a couple of other people, it just looks like he was just shoved to the wayside. Bobby Lashley on the height of his run was way more impressive than Drew McIntyre's championship run.
Also,
which is why, everybody was clamoring for Bobby to drop that belt last year to Drew McIntyre, and I'm like, nope, nope,
also,
not at all.
Also, because like the company has this like obsession for anyone that even has like the smallest iota of personality. It's like let's give him Cena shtick. Like I'm pretty sure the company sees Bobby Lashley and goes, yeah, he can't be Cena. Like he can't do Cena shtick. Like he needs MVP to be his mouthpiece. So,
well,
yeah,
budget cuts, kid.
Budget cuts. But Drew McIntyre won. And let's get to the third match of the night. Tag team match, playa. The Miz and Logan Paul versus Rey Mysterio and Dominic.
The first good thing on this show, in my opinion.
Logan Paul, I gotta say, I was pleasantly surprised. Like
That's why, and you know what? And Drew, let me just say this real quick.
Go ahead.
This is why people need to shut their fucking mouths on the internet.
Right.
WWE's bringing in guys that want to participate for the most part, that want to participate and help. They're not bringing in guys who don't give a shit about it, like Drew Carey and a couple other people from years past. They're bringing in guys that actually want to participate. And Logan Paul wanted to participate. And I got to say, I was impressed. even a couple other people who are casual wrestling fans, they texted me the other night. They were like, Logan Paul actually looks pretty good. Like, he's a natural. Like, him looking all on the camera, sucking in all the heat. Like, he looked comfortable in that ring to me. He did not look lost whatsoever. Like, he looks like and if I didn't know any better, he was some guy that just came up from NXT.
Like, I gotta say,
last year.
Like, I gotta say, him doing the Three Amigos and then doing the Eddie Shimmy and the Frog Splash, it's just like, you fucking asshole.
Yeah, exactly, bro.
I loved it, though.
He did
that's what you want.
He did the Frog Splash better than Dominic and almost as good as Eddie did.
Yeah.
And this is a YouTube celebrity. Like,
exactly. That's my
that
point.
Mike Tyson wants to fight for $1 billion with a B.
He is just like he understood it, and like he came out to the ring wearing a necklace that had a Pokemon card that was worth like $1 million, I believe. And Buff Bagwell on Twitter goes, "I don't know what a Pokemon is, but I'm just gonna assume that's Pittsburgh Steelers cutters."
Oh, good lord!
But yeah,
and that's why Buff Bagwell's living with DDP right now.
We all wish the best for DDP. I mean, for Buff Bagwell. But Logan Paul again, great job. The heels won over. I don't know if it was Andrew or Jeff that said this, but the celebrities almost never lose, so it made sense. And then after the match, The Miz turned on Logan Paul, which kind of
confuses me.
Well, there was already rumors that Logan Paul was going to stay in WWE for a little while, so I guess he's a face.
If they carry through with this, they could also say that a few weeks ago when they were in Cleveland and Miz was trashing the city, Logan Paul didn't, with them both being from there.
Right.
So,
yeah.
You could do this in the storyline that pissed off Miz.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that. Or maybe Miz didn't like the fact that Logan Paul was stealing his thunder.
Yeah, that too. They kind of alluded to that after the match. Miz doesn't like sharing the spotlight with anybody. So,
good.
I mean, they can go different ways.
Like, Logan can be like, Miz, you're on reality TV and nobody knew who you were. And you had to struggle to be, a big name in WWE. Everybody knew who I was before I came to WWE, and I did better than you even in your debut. Like, he can say something like that. So, as much as this pains me to say, I want to see more of Logan Paul in WWE. I want to see what he can do. Him being a face,
he got a reaction.
He got a reaction. Like I can't, I can't deny that he got a reaction. So he gets it.
I said it on Twitter a couple weeks ago when they first brought him back. I'm like, this guy gets a bigger reaction than your favorite beloved wrestler. And people got mad at me. How could you say that? I said, I'm sorry if he gets a better reaction than Mustafa Ali
or Braun Breaker.
Oof. I give Braun Breaker a little bit of a break. We give him a little bit of a break. He's a rookie still. Ain't nobody. The kids ain't watching NXT 2.0. I'm gonna let you know that right now. Sure, they're probably the attended audience, but ain't no kids watching no NXT 2.0, especially not the ones that appear in the Raw crowd.
Right. Yeah, that's just WWE has a plan, and they know who to pick. They're not just going back to the well thinking like, let's bring in Drew Carey and put him in the Royal Rumble, and it's just that didn't work then. It's not going to work now. So let's bring in guys that actually look like athletes.
I'll tell you what, the future of WWE is looking really, really bright. The four pillars, man: Bad Bunny, Logan Paul, Pat McAfee, and fucking Austin Theory. That's not bad.
That's pretty ballsy, RJ, to have those as your four pillars.
Oh god, that's not bad. Not a bad four pillars right there.
Wow, that's the funny part is I actually agree with you.
Oh man.
But let's get to the next match. Probably the second best match of the whole weekend, in my opinion. You had Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, do you think that they're basically trying to start making Bianca Miss WrestleMania? Because if you take out that that Battle Royal that she was in while she was still in NXT, 2 years ago she debuted at WrestleMania. Last year she beat Sasha. This year she beats Becky. Pretty good start to a career for WrestleMania appearances.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe. Why not? I mean, and if you turn a heel down the line, like most of us think she should be,
yeah, she definitely should be.
that could be another thing she could play off of. Ain't nobody never beat me at WrestleMania. Child, please.
I'm the best. I'm the best.
That's something she can definitely hang over a babyface's head. So yeah, I think that's something they should go with moving forward. Honestly, that's a good point, Andrew.
Yeah, Bianca, like, I felt like an asshole in this match because I forgot how good Bianca is. Like, Bianca is definitely lives up to that moniker. You know, Becky can still go. She can still go out there and perform and, you know, put on these big matches with just about anybody. And this match was just really damn good. Like, of course, there's some sloppiness to it, but it just was really damn good. And the entrances, you know, Becky having her like own Marvel Studios, you know, intro where it just says big time backs, and then Bianca, you know, with the marching band. So it was kind of like it kind of threw you off because usually it's only one person that has a big entrance and the other just has a regular entrance, and you're like, okay, so the person with the big entrance is going to win. Got it. No, both of them came out with big entrances. So you're like, okay, who's going to win? And
Becky literally had the same entrance Batista had 3 years ago.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Well, yeah, but she also had that, I guess, like Marvel Studios-esque, you know, intro before the car or whatever. But
and at least, unlike Batista, Becky actually got to build up towards her match. I ain't gonna lie. If that was supposed to have been Batista's retirement match, they did old dog dirty, man.
Give me what I want.
They did not give him what he fully wanted, I bet.
Give me what I need.
Did you catch the shit that Corey Graves got out of this?
What happened?
Because I guess when the marching band started playing, Corey Graves said, "Oh, what the hell is this?" So everyone was calling him racist because it was a marching band.
No,
Seriously?
because I had the same reaction too. Because when it started, like when the music started playing, like it felt kind of off at first.
Right.
And I had my head down on my phone, like texting somebody. Then I looked up and it caught me off guard. So I was like, "What the hell?" too. And me and my brother found it funny that me and Corey said it at the same time. I was like, "What the hell?" And then I look up and I see the band, you know, forming on the stage, and I was like, "Oh, okay, marching band. Like that makes sense, you know, Bianca, college athlete, this, that, and the other. It makes sense." Yeah, but it caught me off guard too. So Graves wasn't the only one. I just thought he was just caught off guard. I don't think he meant anything bad or racist by it. Come on, people got to stop.
I think people just dislike Corey Graves so much they're trying to find anything to try to fuck.
That's just idiotic.
Soft ass motherfuckers. Come on, man. Seriously?
That's reaching. That's reaching to the highest level. That's just being bored.
That's a maximum reach.
It's like, Jesus. All right. Next match. Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins' opponent was revealed to be Cody Rhodes. Right. Cody Rhodes returning with his AEW theme, which, you know, it came to find out that Cody actually owned the theme.
Can we stop saying that's his AEW theme?
Well, no.
He had that theme way before AEW.
Well, no, because
everybody's been saying that.
Well, no, here's what I'm saying. I was correcting myself. So I already knew he had that theme because at first when I was watching it, I was thinking, "Oh, his AEW theme. That's interesting." And then it took me a while to realize, oh, he did have that in Japan. I believe he had that in Ring of Honor for a little bit when he was in Ring of Honor.
No, so I was whole intro, everything. Like, that was like the first big, like, notable place that he had it at.
Right.
So when people go like, "That's his AEW thing," I'm like, nah, not necessarily. He had it way beforehand. Like, the presentation and the stage, yes, that's AEW written all over it. But that theme, no. Had the theme way before AEW.
What were you saying, KARLUK?
Sorry. The neck tattoo is AEW.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh my god.
They should have just made him. They should make him get that removed because that thing's fucking idiots.
Yeah, it's very off-putting. Even my little brother was like, "Don't you think he should have that neck tattoo on his chest and the chest tattoo on his neck at least?"
Well, it's funny you say that because that's exactly what Brian Last said whenever he had that.
I think everybody says that.
Like he said,
even my friend Britt, who has a lot of tattoos, even she was like, "Yeah, he's got his tattoo placements all fucked up."
Do you think WWE owns that music now with part of his deal?
no, it's all Cody.
No, but I'm
Yeah.
saying, like, how many times do we hear that? And are people coming with like names and characters that they had before WWE, and then WWE owns it, and they can't use it, i.e., the Dudley Boys?
I don't know. Well, Cody said in the interview that whenever he signed back, that he just told Vince, "Listen, I need Kingdom. I need this look." And Vince is notoriously known to not want to pay for royalties. But again, when I saw that entrance and when I heard the theme, I would turn over to my girl. I was like, they must really love Cody because they're letting him keep everything.
I mean, they paid for a lot of Metallica music over the course of the weekend.
Yeah, that and plus, like Downstate was one of their in-house bands too for a good bit. There, let's not forget that too.
Yeah, they still do the Miz's theme. They do Dolph's theme. They actually did
Dolph.
They did Cody's Smoke and Mirrors theme.
Yeah, the second one, and Zack Ryder, his old theme. Well, the second version of his old theme. Yeah, so yeah, like they were kind of like an in-house band, and they even did a sick cover for Seth Rollins' old theme song too. That I thought he should have actually tried to use because I thought it was a sick song, but yeah, it is what it is.
But the match overall, go ahead.
Don't forget too that Cody missed his niece's wedding to be at WrestleMania.
Yeah, he did.
I wonder if Dustin's going to follow at some point. I don't know how long his deal is, but Goldust belongs in the Hall of Fame, and that's one thing for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Oh, he'll be there. But overall, the match was great. I thought it was the best match of the whole weekend. Like Cody at the end of the day works. Like when he was in AEW, yeah, the promos, the whole long-winded, breathy, yelling, crying promos. But his matches always made sense because he didn't do the stupid, Young Bucks, Kenny Omega shit. Like he actually went out there and worked. And Seth at the end of the day can still work. He can still go out there and have a good match. So him and Seth really just went out there and had great chemistry. They tore it up. The place was loving it. I mean, I love the spot where Seth yells, "Welcome back to the big leagues, bitch," and then punches him, right in the back. I thought that was cool. And then Cody does the bionic elbow on Seth,
Yeah.
and then does another crossroads and wins the match. So crowd was loving it. I loved it.
Yeah.
What'd you guys think?
Hey, but the first thing is I was thinking about, a lot of people, my wife doesn't understand, like, the extent of that because she didn't watch, like, Monday Night Wars and she didn't see people jump shit back and forth so often. And she's like, after all that he said about them, and I went back and thought, and I'm like, he hasn't really bitterly trashed the company too much, and correct me if I'm wrong, outside of the time that he hit the throne with the sledgehammer at the first Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
For the most part, it was just little digs, like making fun of them changing Walter's name a little while ago. But for the most part, I don't think Cody really went hard on him like, say, Jericho did. Am I wrong about that?
No, you're right, because like I always thought the same thing. Like even when Cody, outside of Cody smashing the throne, he's always like saying pretty complimentary things about WWE. Like he would, in an interview, he said Triple H is his favorite wrestler, and that him and Vince always had a good relationship, and was even complimentary to NXT. So guys like Jericho, who pretend that they're not going back, guys like CM Punk, still to this day will trash the company. And
Right.
Cody seems like he was always on good terms with the company.
Right, yeah, and I feel like it definitely made a change a couple years ago when he was suing the company to be able to call himself Cody Rhodes, and they were countersuing for like footage or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden everything seemed to right itself. So I feel like they kind of made an agreement, and the seeds for this were probably sown around that time, which was what, a year, 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I enjoyed the match. I feel like the Crossroads, they should find some kind of a different finisher for him, like that bouncing cutter. I think that would be a perfect finisher for WWE, if only if it were for the fact that Randy Orton does something almost similar. But I feel like a different finisher would work a little bit better for him at this point, especially because they made Damian Priest stop using it.
Right.
But overall, I enjoyed the match. It was exciting, even though I'm not a big fan of the million false finishes in a match.
Right.
But it was fun. And when they first hit the music, like, I knew what the music meant. You know what the music meant. Some of the people at the crowd did, but I was like, man, he's not getting the reaction I thought. And then he came out, and I was like, I was wrong about that. I found myself thinking, like, last year when Becky was ready for WrestleMania and they didn't bring her back until SummerSlam, I was like, maybe that'd be, push him back a little bit, build up some anticipation. And then so I was legitimately like, I know it's going to be Cody, but how cool would it be if it was like Bray Wyatt or someone like that? Because I know Bray was there for WrestleCon. And then he hit, and I was like, oh, this is still pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, another thing I kind of realized is that his entrance, we call it the Cody Christ, Jesus Christ entrance, like that he had in AEW, the Messiah. It fits for WWE because Cody, like when the whole thing that happened with Cody, whenever he left AEW and didn't sign back, is I made the point of saying out of all the guys in the Elite, the Bullet Club, whatever you want to call them, Cody seemed like the one who was always like the one who was out of place because he didn't really have the look or the feel of those guys like Kenny and the Bucks and even Adam Page. They all seem like they're best friends in real life and they all get along with each other. And
I would say Page too seems out of left field. That's why when he first joined like Bullet Club, I'm like, that seems a little, because like the Bucks and Kenny and even Cole, like they're all like jokey guys, whereas Page and Cody just strike me as ends men,
And you notice Adam Page is the one that on TV is not associated with any of the others, and hasn't been.
Exactly. It has not been for a while.
So let me ask you something. So Cody did, a bunch of interviews after Mania, and I think it was with Ariel Helwani, where he asked him, something about AEW guys jumping ship and going to WWE, and he kind of I'm just paraphrasing, where he said if they ask me for my opinion, I'll give it to them about bringing in AEW guys at WWE. So do you see more jumping ship because MJF has been very open about his contract coming up in 2 years, and there's the talk that him and Tony Khan had an argument about it. Do you see more guys besides MJF, like a Wardlow or an Adam Page, coming to WWE?
I do.
I think there's no question Jericho is going to make the jump back at some point. He's obviously getting back in shape for that purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Jericho, we've been talking about it for a while. That Stanford diet. Jericho, Powerhouse Hobbs. I mentioned Dustin earlier. Yeah, Dustin. Powerhouse Hobbs is one of Cody's pupils. I definitely see a guy like him coming over.
People like Wardlow and Jade Cargill are like just have the look like they're custom built to be in WWE.
No,
yes. Mm-hmm.
Like they're basically just using AEW as their audition to go to WWE.
Right. It's a little bit of developmental too. Like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure Vince is like salivating when he sees Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
He's like, put her in the ring with Charlotte. Stat.
Yeah, I know, right? And who else? Like those are like, as far as like young guys go, yeah, like Powerhouse Hobbs, Jade Cargill, Wardlow, and Max
Caster.
No, Max Jacob Freeman, MJF.
Well, I was gonna say Max Caster. I think he has something.
Max Caster's almost 40 years old. He ain't fooling nobody about shaving his mustache.
But Anthony Bowens is like 22 years old, and I could see them wanting to get their hands on him.
Yeah, Bowens, yeah, he's a big guy too. Yeah, big guy. LGBTQ community representative. I can see that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of talent that I'm sure that they would at least try to do something with in the Performance Center.
And it's the ones you least expect, too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, what about Billy Gunn's sons?
You know what? Don't be surprised if those guys in Hook, too, down the line. Once they all get older.
You can keep Hook.
They all get a little older and get a little bit more seasoning. Yeah, I could see them, like, taking all the younger guys. Yeah, using AEW as a startup.
They can keep Hook.
FTR did an interview recently where they said that if the conditions were right, they'd have no problem going back.
Who said that?
FTR.
Oh yeah, because they already took AEW and all that other stuff out of their bios, and they're already pretty much selling themselves for what's next. I'm like, wow.
Which, by the way, if you haven't seen the match they had with the Briscoes on Friday night, you should find it because it was fucking amazing.
Oh yeah. It was definitely good, and it was everything that needed to be. It's just a damn shame that Ring of Honor and AEW both failed both teams. Failed them both by not promoting this matchup, by not doing any type of angles for this matchup. I know, look, AEW, they got executives to answer to, and apparently somebody didn't like what Jay Briscoe said 10 years ago. And so now they're getting punished for it, and they can't be on AEW, but Ring of Honor still could have done some internet promos or something to help promote this thing. Something.
Yep.
I think the Young Bucks keep them out because they, in the past, have made the Young Bucks look pretty silly.
Who, the Briscoes?
Yeah.
I was gonna say
that too.
I was gonna say, RJ, who owns Ring of Honor?
Tony Khan, but like
Bingo.
the match was like announced even before he even bought it.
Yeah, it was. Because they built that up like in November, December, whatever their last pay-per-view was.
Yeah, exactly. When they came out and attacked them.
I felt like this pay-per-view was designed to get AEW stars over because all the AEW guys won their matches.
Yeah, except for Jonathan Gresham. Good Lord. Ugh.
That guy sucks.
But he was wrestling Bandito, so, it wasn't like, a current AEW guy was in that. The only exception was Jay Lethal and Lee Moriarty, who were both in AEW, but obviously Jay Lethal's going over in that. But although it does look like he's going heel, so that would be good.
Him and Sanjay, I like that. That's kind of a little bit. That's a little throwback right there for me.
Yeah.
I gotta ask, what's the appeal on Jonathan Gresham?
He's a great technical wrestler. How do you not know that? He's the foundation, damn it.
I just call him Mr. Grace.
He's 5'4". Like, what the fuck?
Mr. Grace.
Like, does Jordan Grace put him in? Never mind. Never mind. I'm just gonna.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does. She makes him toot it up like Andy from Toy Story.
Oh!
I want to ride the pony. Yep.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyways, we're just talking about Cody Rhodes and we're talking about Jonathan Gresham inside of Jordan Grace's pussy. What the fuck? Next match. SmackDown Women's Championship. Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey.
Oh, this is slop-tastic, baby.
This is bad. BAD bad. Just
BAD bad. Yeah, bad.
Like Ronda to me has been exposed in her second run. Like
Ronda, I agree with Mish. I think she's tanking it. She does not want to be a babyface. She wants to be a heel. And at this point, let her just be a heel. A lot of people, look, I'm in all these group chats on Twitter and stuff like that. She does not want... And a lot of people, just turn her heel. Just turn her heel. At least we can respect her honesty at that point. And I agree. Turn her heel. Shit. I think Charlotte can get a little bit of leeway there. Feuding with Ronda, even though a lot of people ain't super jazzed about Charlotte either. But I think at least Charlotte and Ronda, that can give Charlotte something. But damn, turn Ronda heel, link her up with Shayna, axe this natty shit, and do it.
I mean, we're seeing them together because they're doing the training and stuff together.
Exactly.
So, I'm sure that Ronda would love to just be a tag team with Shayna. I know Shayna would probably like that a lot better than anything else she's been doing over the last 2 years.
Exactly.
Let them just go dominate the women's tag division and twofold, make people give a shit about Ronda, make people give a shit about those titles.
Yeah. And if Ronda doesn't want to get physical, right? Do have Ronda be Shayna's coach.
Yeah.
Play off of real life. Have Ronda coach Shayna to beat Charlotte and run the division for a while.
If nothing else, let Shayna be the badass she should have been when they brought her from NXT.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Like I think that see, we just came up with ideas. So we don't even have jobs. Right. We're creative jobs in the company at least.
That's why y'all can't have jobs, because you'd actually have common sense.
Because we have brains that work.
It's like
and it would fucking work.
Like let's have Ronda go out there and talk about America.
No, Charlotte, I want to break your fucking arm off and wrap it around your fucking neck, bitch. Because I can. Like,
oh my God.
That's
just like
what you do.
Give that script to Vince and watch him have a heart attack in his chair.
Like that famous GIF of him going around.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Yeah, this match was pretty bad. Like it had a weird ending. It's weird because these two have had good matches before. Like their match at Survivor Series a few years ago was, really good. I don't know
but
where
that. Why that was good though. It was a Gaga match.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's what's needed. I think Ronda needs that. See, if you go back, Ronda had glorified squash matches early on in her career, but then that great one with Charlotte that we all remember, that was Extreme Rules match or something like that. Last Woman's something like that. It had stipulations to it, so that's why it came off really, really good and really, really physical. And I remember Ronda was bleeding, Charlotte was bleeding a little bit. Yeah, I mean that match got really physical. So I think they need to tap into that a little bit more.
Yeah, Dex.
Sorry.
No, you good. I just think that, they need to switch Ronda heel, have her maybe flip out on somebody, but then who's the top babyface? That's the one bad thing about it. You need another babyface's head in the middle of this thing. Charlotte's not, Charlotte can't be a babyface. And Ronda should be a heel. So who are you going to put in the middle of that? Sasha's all tied up with Naomi right now, and vice versa. My beloved big booty Australian queen is in AEW now.
He's not nearly as big anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, oof. Yeah, we got to talk about that too, Drew. And like, who do they put in the spot? Is Bayley ready? If Bayley's ready, maybe that. Asuka, maybe. But I just don't know. Like, but Ronda's definitely got to be a heel moving forward. That's one thing I do know for sure.
The thing is, like, Ronda obviously doesn't give a shit right now.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be just like a paycheck for her. Because she also, I don't know if you caught this, she wasn't at the Hall of Fame, and she's like, well, I had to put my kid to bed, and it's like, it was like 10, 11 at night. In theory, that baby has a father, right? That can probably handle that. But that's another story. But imagine how much worse this match would have been if she was in the ring with somebody else who didn't give a shit. She's lucky that Charlotte does.
Yeah, Charlotte was in there trying, that's for sure.
You mean Tamina?
Oh, God.
There you go. That's their top babyface.
Oh, no. Please, no. Hey, Mish, I know you love Tamina, but damn, man, you gotta admit, too much work and pressure on them knees, and she'll be out for another 8 months.
Mish is just like, I don't care. More Tamina.
Damn it.
Bring back Nia Jax just to say fuck you to the fans for that.
Oh, no.
Bring it Paige.
Oh, hey! Actually, that wouldn't be bad. Yeah, Drew, I know you can't stand Paige, but that would actually, I think that might get a little bit of a rise out of people.
Well, it'll get a rise out of me because I want to see Ronda just kill Paige. I'm playing. I
gotta say though, like on a side thing too, with all these people who come back from career-ending injuries, I don't like that. So I don't, as much as I dislike Paige, and I don't want to see that because she could get crippled, especially depending on who she's in the ring with. Because I cringe every match one of these Edge, Bryan Danielson, Christian types have a match. I'm like,
especially Bryan Danielson. I mean, my God, like, especially with AEW, where the handcuffs are off.
Right. Like when Daniel Bryan was having that match against Brock at Survivor Series a while ago.
Oh yeah, that
I was like, is Bryan okay or is he just acting? Because he is a good actor.
I was like in the last year's main event of WrestleMania. I'm like, this is 3 guys who, in theory, probably should not be wrestling at all. Well, when you can factor in Roman with, the fact that leukemia could come back at any time.
Yeah.
With Bryan, Edge, and Roman, I was like, these are 3 guys who probably could have very easily never wrestled again.
Right.
Dirk just pointed out that Charlotte and Ronda's match from Survivor Series actually was Lightning, and Dirk commented on it that their match was a regular match, and Charlotte got disqualified for using a cane.
Oh.
So.
Well, it shouldn't have got better afterwards, right?
Oh yeah. Next, we have the main event of Night 1, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Kevin Owens in a no-holds-barred match.
Hey, I was watching... I actually stopped and watched this the next day, and so when I watched it on the replay, I realized that Steve Austin's music hit during the 3-hour and 16-minute mark.
How neat is that? How neat is that?
I wonder if that was planned, but if not, that was an amazing coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's a little bit... Hey, I guess we'll never know. This... I don't know about you guys. I love this. Like, Steve Austin, 57 years old, hasn't had a match in 19 years. Out there taking bumps. Getting, taking bumps on hard concrete. Taking... I don't even know. Did Kevin Owens did a super kick? I don't know if Kevin Owens did a super kick, but this match was great. It was what it needed to be. Like I was saying, it needs to be like when Austin came back against Eric Bischoff and just beat the shit out of him. And I honestly thought it was just going to be Austin beating the shit out of Kevin Owens, but it ended up being a straight-up match where Kevin Owens was getting offense in and beating the shit out of Steve Austin, and I loved every minute of it. I was a little worried at first when the match started, when Austin started doing his stomps in the corner, because he was going very slowly. I was like, ooh, I'm glad they made this a no-holds-barred match. But as the match started progressing, he started to pick up the pace and the energy. And, Lightning is saying it felt like one of the main events right out of the Attitude Era. Yeah, you're right. It was enjoyable. It was what it needed to be, especially for a guy like Austin who hasn't had a match in 19 years. And
it didn't look like it.
It didn't look like it. He
did not look like he went 19 years between matches.
Like, I know this is kind of like the cliche thing to say, but he still had it. Like, he still had that magic of just going out there and making you believe this 57-year-old Texan that drinks beer and cusses and flicks people off is beating the ever-living piss out of this Kevin Owens guy, out of this Montreal, Quebecian, piece of shit.
Fat slob.
This fat slob. Whoever wants me to beat the shit out of Kevin Owens, give me a hell yeah. Like,
hell yeah.
I should have saved the guy's username, but a few weeks ago when they first announced Steve Austin was doing this, I saw someone on Reddit who said that Steve Austin never drew a dime
Oh, Jesus Christ.
had never had a pop like CM Punk had when he returned last year.
Oh my God.
By the way, they also said The Rock never had a pop like that either. And
What?
I'm like, I would love to still have that guy's username and be like, see that? Because I think you could take CM Punk's cumulative responses, and it was nothing like what Steve Austin got that night.
And guess what? You want to know why WWE was so quick to never put CM Punk in those type of main event situations? Because he didn't do all that great as champion, if you remember.
Nope.
The ratings was not top tier. And guess what? In AEW, they're still not top tier either.
Right.
It's like
they're just as good as they're gonna get for AEW in their audience. Sorry, especially the hardcore marks.
It's like Steve Austin can come out at a house show in fucking in El Paso, and he would get the biggest pop there. Like he gets up as soon as you hear that glass breaking, the place is going to go ape shit bananas. Same with The Rock. The Rock can come out in any city, in any arena, and he'll get a big pop. CM Punk gets a pop, but it's just like that's it. Like he doesn't really get that big of a pop. So I don't know.
Say, go to a convention and look at a line that Steve Austin has. He doesn't do many of them, and then look at in Chicago when they did the whatever stupid thing that Confront does.
Starcast?
And CM Punk was Starcast when CM Punk was there. I saw the line and it was like, I've seen longer lines for Shawn Michaels. I was in a longer line for Sting last year. So while he gets, it's just a matter of CM Punk has been the hot thing over the last few months, but nothing compared to Steve Austin.
Well, also because not Steve Austin, but CM Punk looks like a guy that works at Hot Topic. He doesn't look like a star. Like if you saw someone like Steve Austin or The Rock walking in the airport, you would think, "Oh, that guy's somebody." Like CM Punk just looks like the dude that works at Hot Topic or the Van store.
And not only just that, but Punk doesn't look like he's approachable anyways.
Yes, Punk is a miserable fucking asshole. Like he is a miserable twat. Like just again, we won't talk too much about CM Punk, but you're just kind of getting out of the way. Steve Austin is just Steve Austin. At the end of the day, he's a star. He's going to get the biggest reaction possible anytime he comes out. He could come out and give the same promo, drink beer, and flick everybody off, and everybody will love it. The end. But this match was great. I loved it. Steve looked great. Kevin Owens just they need to find a bigger opponent for him, or I'm not saying put him in the title race right away, but give him something high on top of the card, because he brought out a good match in Steve Austin for the first time in 19 years.
Nah, but he's stuck feuding with Ezekiel.
Oh, Jesus Christ, we'll get to that. But what'd you guys think about the match?
I thought it was fun.
It was my favorite match of this night. It definitely should have been the main event of it. Although I hate saying main event of night one. It's the mid card, to be honest. But it definitely deserved to be in that spot, and best way to close out the show.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. 1,000%.
Yeah, it's definitely a match of the year candidate. All right, so night 2. First match of the night, RK Bro versus the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy in a triple threat for the Raw Tag Team Championships.
Fun opener. I thought it was definitely show-worthy, but you could have put this on Raw too, but I just thought it was fun, man. All three teams worked hard, man. Angelo Dawkins looks like shit, by the way.
He looks like the Street Profits.
Yeah, he's pretty bad.
He looks like shit. But Gable, Otis, Montez Ford, and Randy and Riddle, man, they all looked good. Randy Orton is having the time of his life. 42 years old, and he is having the time of his life.
RK Bro is probably next to Roman, probably the best thing in WWE of the last year.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Without a doubt, without a hesitation.
This is a little off topic. Cody did an interview where he talked about Randy Orton. He randomly said, "When did Randy become a Family Guy?" Like he said that jokingly because Randy's had the reputation of being a dick and kind of being a womanizer.
How long have I been gone?
What was that?
He's like, how long have I been gone?
He's like, Jesus Christ, Randy has a family. He's baking cookies with his wife and his kids. Like, Jesus.
That Kim lady is definitely
she
something.
is. She's so cool.
Well, she's something. Yeah, I mean, you definitely read about that, but she's definitely showing us a different side of Randy Orton that we never thought we would see in a million years.
she also strikes me as someone who's not going to take anyone's shit, especially Randy's.
Oh no, yeah, definitely Randy. She's got Randy in check, man. But yeah, they seem like a really good couple though.
Yeah,
when I was at Royal Rumble after the show went off the air, because it was in St. Louis, he came out afterwards and just stood there for the crowd for a good 5-10 minutes and let them just give him the love, which is something that Randy in the old days would fucking never have done.
Yeah, he is, and even him with his attitude over the years, I don't want to be a babyface, I want to be a heel, But he is just having fun. Even the other night on Raw when Finn Balor came out, he was doing the whole thing with the audience like Finn Balor does. And I'm like, damn, Randy is just like, it's little things like that. Like, he's just really having fun, man. He's not looking miserable. And he's bringing his working boots too, so that helps a whole lot.
Probably doesn't hurt that he can work whenever and however much he wants.
Exactly.
He can pretty much write his own ticket at this point in his life.
Where do you guys rank Randy Orton as far as like, current to all time, best performers?
Definitely top 10.
Yeah.
Maybe top 5.
In this generation, and compared to where I grew up at, I'd definitely say top 5 workers.
That's fair. I would say the same thing. Top 5, top 10. Like, he gets a lot of love from like the old school wrestlers because, like I was mentioning at the Hall of Fame, when Scott came out, Scott like went out of his way to go up to Randy Orton and shake his hand, and Randy looked like he was like over the moon that Scott Steiner went up to him and shook his hand. So I think he doesn't really get a lot of credit for his work because I know Joe numbers. He's not a big Randy Orton guy, and I understand why. But
ballerina 1 2 1 2. I remember the old school rants.
Randy Queef Orton.
Didn't he like the Hall of Fame like he just won the Masters with that mustard jacket?
I love Randy, but yeah, Randy, top 10 easily, top 5. You could make a case for top 5, but.
Yeah, Randy doesn't make any mistakes. Randy doesn't try to do anything he can't do. And his shit looks clean, man.
Right.
I don't think they're going to break up RK Bro anytime soon, but if they do, I think the natural progression is let Cody do something with them because of their past. And, the promo writes itself. Cody be like, I used to follow you around, and I used to try to learn from you, but now I've surpassed you so far. Like, that storyline it's money right there.
Yeah, there you go.
For us Ruthless Aggression era fans, or PG era fans, you can even bring back Ted DiBiase Jr. and dangle him in the middle of it.
Yeah, no thanks.
No, he's not going to prison.
I ain't saying to wrestle, I'm just saying for storyline purposes.
Oh, boy.
Teddy got the short end of that stick there. He was supposed to be so much bigger than he was.
I mean, he had Maurice and Virgil as managers. How do you get better than that?
Exactly. Obviously he had a better road, no pun intended, to success than Cody did, but Cody outworked him, and Cody hustled, and I think injuries helped kill DiBiase's career, too.
Lack of charisma didn't help.
Yeah, that, too. He did not have a lick of his father's charisma. He took himself a little too more seriously than his father ever did, too. I always noticed.
All right. Next match, Bobby Lashley versus Omos.
Look, this was as good as you were going to get from Omos. And two wrecking balls. Like, this is just as good as you was going to get from these two guys.
It's what I expected it to be.
Yeah. It's not like you're not getting a 5-star technical masterpiece from John Gresham and Zack Sabre Jr. That's gonna make you shit your pants, internet nerds. But this is everything it needed to be, in my opinion. I didn't look for anything any better or any less than what we got here, and I thought it was fine. They put it together nicely.
I feel like Lashley is actually still hurt, and that, compared with what we saw the next night, was meant to write him off TV. So if that's true and he's dealing with an injury, it was fine on Lashley's part, and he's another one right up there with the other things. He's been one of the best things of the last year, just at a next level kind of thing.
Yeah. It was the match went the way it should have. It was just two hosses. It was a giant and a hoss. So it went the way it should have. You're not going to send Drew Gulak out there and try to have, him chain wrestle with Omos, because that would just be ridiculous. But this match went the way it should have. I was a little surprised that Lashley won over, clean, because I thought they were going to do something where Omos, beats him and he's this dominant, giant. He's like, I'm the Almighty. And then the next night on Raw, that's when MVP turns on Lashley. He's like, "You trying to make me look bad? I'm trying to have a good thing going, and you made us look bad. Now here's a new almighty Omos."
Sure, make your statement.
Like you can do that. That was a bad impression of MVP, by the way, but that's still you could have done something like that. But we'll get to Raw in a bit.
Do you think that with that they bring Hurt Business back together?
I hope so.
I
mean, I know somewhere Jeff Lippman is like salivating thinking about that.
Yeah, I would love
I kind of pitched that. I kind of pitched that back in January during the Day One pay-per-view. I was talking to one of the younger kids on Twitter that follows me, and me and him was talking about ideas, and I was like, "Look, hey," I said, "Why not have?" Because Omos is in a desperate, and that's something that all of us agreed on, that Omos is in a desperate need of a mouthpiece. And I was like, "Look, Lashley's at this point where he's getting over," and it looked like at that point in time they were trying to turn him babyface. Around that point, so I don't get why people were like, why do they keep on flipping Bobby Lashley heel and babyface? And like they've been trying to turn this man babyface ever since like after Survivor Series. So it's not all of a sudden that they're trying to turn this man babyface. And I just thought that maybe MVP. There was rumors back then that that Omos was going to fight Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania. Back then it was for the title, and I was like, no, there's no way they can give this man a title match, not this quickly. But when I saw that, I was like, look, they can do the whole thing where MVP turns on Lashley, gets the Hurt Business back together, and have Omos be the main pupil. And, hey, if we can get that, I think that that could be something special. I'm not going to lie, because I do miss the Hurt Business, and I think Omos can fit that. Because, I mean, holy shit. He's a monster. He's a monster, and you got Shelton and you got Shelton and Cedric that can also help teach him some stuff as well. And the Siege were kind of planning it too when, remember, they tried to recruit him like a couple of weeks back. And he took on them in a handicap match. So I guess we just have to see what they do.
All right. Next you have Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn. Anything goes match.
I thought this was the most fun match of the weekend.
Yes.
I agree.
And that's because admittedly, it's because I'm a Jackass fan. I'm watching this with my wife, and she's like, I don't understand any of this. I'm like, oh, this is great. This is like, and then seeing like the only thing I would have wanted was Steve-O to be part of this. But, seeing Wee Man pop out, the hand, which some people said that's a second-generation wrestler because that's Mark Henry and me.
Even Mark Henry is like, I breed the next generation of wrestlers.
Oh, Mark Henry watching WWE confirmed, huh?
Ooh. Hey, he needs something else to do besides saying, "And now it's time for the main event." But I love this match. I had fun with it. Me and the missus and her sister were watching it, and we were just dying laughing through everything that was happening. Like with the giant hand, the mousetrap, the cow taser, Wee Man coming out. Who was the other guy that came out in the? Was it he had a tuxedo and he was wearing like a thong or whatever? Like
Party Boy.
Party Boy. There you go. Like Pat McAfee shows that he's a Jackass fan. He's like, I've seen this guy's ass more than once.
Yeah, no.
Like it was
a cheeks are jiggling at WrestleMania. I was like, what the fuck?
Like it was fun. Like again, sometimes you need to shut your brain off and just have fun. Like I'm not gonna be you guys already know me. I'm not the guy who's like everything needs to be serious. There needs to be more suplexes and leg locks. Like no, dude, I'm just gonna have fun. I'm sorry. No, this is fun.
And I took it to one of my friends the other day. Because people were bitching about it online. I said, yeah, these same people are bitching about this matchup are the same ones that were praising and hopping up and down when fucking, what's that guy's name? Effie or whatever the fuck his name, shoved a fucking dildo down Marco Stunt's throat.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Dwarf dong sucker.
And we're gonna give this match some hell. when people were praising that and thinking that was the greatest thing. Sex in the middle of the ring, that was great. Come on, man.
Or Chris Jericho and MJF having a dinner sing along.
I'm literally sitting here during this match laughing my ass off like a schoolgirl.
Yeah, same here.
And it's like, you know what? I hadn't seen the new Jackass movie yet. I'm definitely going to. I'm gonna watch it this week at some point because I have to. And I've heard from people that it's as good as the other ones. So I'm definitely gonna see that. And it's like, if nothing else, it was the perfect advertisement for the movie coming out on DVD. Royal Rumble, it was when it came out in the theater, and now it comes out on DVD, next week or the week after?
And that's exactly what I told somebody, too. I said this was just a big advertisement for that movie because all the props, all the setups that they had, it was just a big advertisement for it, and I thought it was perfect. Everything it needed to be.
Yeah, it was fun. Like Mish said, it reminded me of the old school like hardcore title segments, not the 24/7 bullshit. Like the hardcore title segments, like fucking Crash Holly being chased around a Chuck E. Cheese because he decided to say, I'll take on all covers 24/7. So it was a fun match. Like I loved it. It was. I would say it was the funnest match of WrestleMania. Maybe not the best match, but it was the funnest match. I'll put it that way.
Yeah,
I talk about this a lot, and one of my favorite WrestleMania matches, I might have even said it when I was on with you last week, is from WrestleMania 31. It was Triple H and Sting, which was by no stretch of the imagination a good match. But with all the DX and NWO guys coming out and almost like recreating the Monday Night War there, it was a super fun match, and one of my top, like every WrestleMania season, I make sure to watch that one.
Yeah, as a fan, I enjoyed it. Like the match itself was like, first of all, they debut Sting during the day, which was just odd, and then you can clearly see his bald spot, which was even more odd. And yeah, the match was just bleh, but it was fun seeing hey, we're getting DX versus NWO, kind of, but hey, here you go. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta have fun. It was a fun match. But next is the Fatal 4-Way WWE Tag Team Women's Championship match. Naomi and Sasha Banks versus Queen Zelina and Carmella versus Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley versus Natalya and Shayna Baszler.
This match could have been off the show. I love Rhea and
Bingo.
Liv just as much as the next guy, but I love Sasha and Naomi. Natty, I can do it without. We all know that. Shayna Baszler should be doing more. And who's the other tag team that was in this shit fest?
Carmella and Queen Zelina.
Oh my god! Look, I like Zelina Vega to a certain degree. Carmella, you need somebody like Carmella around to kind of get her ass kicked and thrown around. But yeah, this match just wasn't needed. It wasn't needed. Sorry.
Nope.
Sorry to all the women wrestling fans out there, but you had Charlotte and Ronda, even though that was garbage, and you had Bianca and Becky. My God, I'm blanking. You had those matches. That should have been enough to whet your appetizer. Whet your appetite for women's wrestling.
Jesus Christ!
This match was not needed. It was not needed. I'm sorry, it wasn't needed. We got to stop with trying to shove everybody on the WrestleMania card.
Right.
This match existed for one reason, and that was to end Sasha's winless streak at WrestleMania.
Like
I mean that too, but like, god damn, you could have did a singles match, like it should have been in the beginning. Got like, you know what? It would have been 2v2. Sasha and Naomi versus Carmella and Vega. That would have been fine, but shoving Natty and Shayna and Rhea and Liv, especially when Rhea just kicked Nikki shits to the storm not too long ago, and Rhea you released both of fucking Liv Morgan's partners year by year, last 2 years. Like, come on, man, this is slap together shit, and you're not fooling anybody. It just wasn't needed.
Like, what they really should have done is, again, have a pre-show, but just do a Mrs. WrestleMania pre-show. Or Mrs. WrestleMania Battle Royal. That's all you could have done. Like, if you want them to get on the show somehow, put them on the pre-show. This match didn't mean anything, because those tag team titles are worthless. They don't mean anything. They're a worthless title. Like, there was a point where I forgot who the tag team champions were.
Yeah, exactly. Look, Zelina Vega and Carmella get a lot of, well, not a lot of TV time, but they get consistent TV time on Raw each week. So, I mean, and I work for the most part during all these segments. But when you're asking yourself that constant question, that's a problem. That's a fucking problem.
Most weeks I forget who the women's tag champions are.
Huh?
Or that title even exists.
Yeah.
All right.
I actually give a shit about it in NXT because at least, Toxic Attraction is decent characters and it's something worth noticing.
Gigi Dolan, my God. Whoa. That's definitely worth noticing right there.
Both, all of them, in fact.
I ain't too hot about Bug's Life Girl over there, but Mandy and Gigi for sure. Foof.
Talking about
really dig her facials. Like, she's really good at facials.
She just oozes female rock star.
It came out, but you know what I mean. Like, just the faces that she makes are really well done.
Yeah, she just oozes female rock star, man.
I like all three of them. I like JC. I think JC is kind of the underrated, worker of the group, because she's actually very good in the ring and she knows how to be just the bitchy heel. And then Gigi is the star. Like, she's the one that's going to be the breakout star. Mandy is, the leader, and she's the star of the group.
Yeah, Gigi and Mandy will definitely be fine. JC, I can see her struggling on the main roster. Shall they ever break this group up? So
yeah, she's probably.
I think this is one of those groups that needs to stay in NXT because they're not going to do anything with them on the main show.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a shame. That's a shame.
Like,
it's really weird. It's really weird to me because like I looked all these people up when I was when they came up to see like their age and what they were doing. It's really weird. I look at JC Jane. She was born while Shawn Michaels was champion for the first time, and I'm like, I had just graduated high school. It sounds like an old fart by saying that, but still.
I was 7. Jesus.
Fuck you then.
Don't talk to me that way, god damn it.
Shawn Michaels got the belt for the first time in what, 96? 96? Yeah. Yeah, I was like 2 years old. So.
We're making Andrew feel horrible about himself.
But then Gigi Dolan's a year younger and she's already been married and divorced to Darby Allin.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy, right?
And that's like, that should make her feel 40. Like, Jesus.
Like, I feel like she's been around a lot longer than she actually has, because, you think of that, and you think of her throwing her used tampon in a match.
Yeah.
And it's like, chick's been around, but she really hasn't.
Well, that actually wasn't a used tampon. That was it's a tampon, but it wasn't used. I think she,
looks like it was dipped in Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I think that's what she said, but I never really gave her shit about it, because I didn't really care. Like, because it was funny how, like, Joey Ryan did the dick spot, but everybody loved it, but she does that and she got crucified.
Well, the other weird thing is she did it once, and Joey Ryan did it in every match. So, like, I think maybe she might have gotten, it might have even been a little bit worse, and I would have been a little more, whatever. If she did it on a regular basis. But, admittedly, she can only do it once a month.
And Joey Ryan's blow pop spot, too. Nobody ever bitched about that either. We would stick the lollipop that he just had in his mouth in somebody else's mouth. Like, what the fuck? Come on, man.
All right, that's enough Joey Ryan talk on this show.
One more thing. I watched him at WrestleCon in New York, and he was doing a thing where you could take pictures with him with his dick out.
Ugh.
And he was trying to get people to come into line for that purpose. And one of them was Izzy.
Oh, God.
And I was like, this is fucking absolutely disgusting. And, I mean, admittedly, Izzy's like, no, I can't, I'm underage. And, like, I think she actually did a normal photo with him, like, without it out. But I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
Pile of shit.
And let me guess, nobody said anything about it.
they probably thought it was cute.
I walked away, and I didn't even think any more of it.
It's like, oh, how cute! He's gonna have his dick out in front of an underage girl. Whoa. Like, oh my god. Let's move on because I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Admittedly, he did advertise that you have to be over 18, and I don't know why he thought she wasn't, or that was just for show.
Or probably because he's a pedophile. Anyways, move on. Edge versus AJ Styles in a singles match.
Well, I'm no Edge fan, so this was too long for my my take. But did you notice? I love this because AJ got cut on his way to the ring, and Meltzer put out immediately, "Oh, it happened in pyro," and I'm like, "But he didn't have any pyro." But it turned out what happened was he walked into the set as he came out of the gorilla position.
Really? Yeah, I was noticing. I'm like, what the hell is on AJ's face? And I don't know who mentioned that it was pyro. I don't think it was. I think it was somebody else before Meltzer that mentioned that it was pyro. Because I turned over to my girl, I was like, oh, I think it was pyro. But I'm like, wait, that doesn't look like a pyro cut. Because I think it would just be like a burn mark or whatever. But yeah, that's pretty fucked up. And then he ended up working with, a cut on his face. So, but I like the match. I don't know why Edge's matches are always long. Like he loves having these long matches, and I get it because he wants to prove that he can still go. But like someone needs to tell him, and I don't know if Michael Hayes even does booking anymore or whoever. But it's just like they need to let him know, like, dude, you don't need to have these long matches. Like, you just need to go out there and have maybe, like, 15-minute matches at best. 15, 16-minute matches. Like, because, Mish and Joe were talking about the match. Like, Mish put out a good point where he noticed how, like, the crowd was kind of getting into the match, but then he had to rewind it because he noticed that the fans were... It looked like they were basically sitting on their hands. But you can hear, like, the crowd going, ah! Like, it's just like, wait, how is that sound coming out of these fans? So he thinks that that WWE kind of turned up the audio during the match. But, yeah, Mish is really good at spotting audio enhancements. Like, Mish, like, he's really fucking good at that. So, yeah, the match was a little too long. I thought it maybe could have been maybe 18 minutes at best. Or
According
16
to the
minutes.
sheets, P.D. Williams produced this match.
Oh, there you go.
PD, come on, you gotta cut it down. I know you probably an edge mark, but cut it down.
PD knows better.
It's like, why weren't there any Canadian destroyers? God damn it! Yeah, this
apparently he's one of the best producers they have. So, like, he's really tapping into this role pretty nicely. But PD, you got a real edge in. You got to reel some of these guys in, man.
But do you think it's Edge that says, hey, I want to have a long match?
I think it's Edge. Like you said, I think he wants to prove that he's still the best and that this injury ain't gonna hold him down. Let me compete like I'm still the old Edge.
Yeah, probably also maybe they think, well, we only get 4 or 5 matches out of him a year. We might as well get the most out of it we can.
Yeah, and plus he's in there with AJ, a guy that can go the distance as well. So I guess that's probably what they were thinking.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't even remember Edge's matches being this long even back in the day.
Me neither, but I don't.
His WrestleMania matches were, especially the ones we had with Undertaker and stuff like that. But yeah, generally speaking, they weren't.
I know, man. But yeah, again, I enjoyed the match. It's AJ. AJ's gonna have a great match with anyone, so I enjoyed it. I liked Edge's entrance. I thought it was pretty cool. I'm digging his new theme. During the match, Damian Priest comes out, which ends up making the rumors true that Edge is gonna start his own stable. Yeah. And yeah, there you go. I
like the idea of that a lot. I like Damian Priest. I think a darker side of him is kind of right up his alley. I only hope that when they break up the team next week, Rhea Ripley joins the stable too.
Oh yeah, that'd be dope.
Who else do you guys think should be a part of this faction? Because I pitched an idea that since we're going for this dark alternative look, that maybe Mace should join this group since we haven't seen him on television since he's been drafted. And me and you talked about this a couple of weeks, Drew. We don't know if he's injured or what, but he hasn't been on TV since he's been drafted. So maybe Edge recruiting another bigger guy who kind of fits with him and Damian Priest is going for. And if the rumors are true and Rhea Ripley joins, like, they all have things in common here as far as, like, height and look and the way they characters dress. And Kevin brought up an interesting point yesterday, too. Like, him with that sick look, the Predator, you know, the dreadlocks and everything like that, that could fit very, very well with this group.
That'd be interesting. Another name I kind of thought about. I don't know how you guys would feel, but Ciampa.
I don't think Ciampa should be a heel ever again.
I don't think he can.
Yeah, he can't. With that neck, oh my god. If people know the history, like, he can't be a vicious heel ever again.
Sucks because he was one of the best heels of the last 25 years when he first turned on Gargano.
Yeah, exactly. And he wanted to be that. That was even better and a testament to him as a worker. But now he can't be a heel. But that would be a great spot to protect him so he doesn't have to get injured again. But I just broken down Ciampa at this point. I don't know.
Yeah, but Rhea Ripley would be a good fit because I know her and Damian Priest are pretty tight.
Yeah, so they are.
That'd be fun. I wouldn't mind that. Let's see. Next is
why not just reunite the rest of La Familia, bring back Chavo and Bam Neely?
I don't want to see I don't want to see Chavo on my television, like, ever.
I don't even want to see Chavo on Ring of Honor. I don't want to see him on AEW. I don't even want to see him on Lucha Underground if they decide to bring that back from the dead.
Like, I just want to remember Eddie. I don't ever want to see Chavo, like, ever.
Chavo. Somebody had the nerve to tell me that Chavo was better than Eddie. I was like, man, you just stop lying.
Stop.
What kind of crack are you smoking, homie? Because I want some of that to be that damn delusional. Chavo better than Eddie. What?
Like, they tried to push Chavo after Eddie, and they realized he's not good.
He does not have the goods like his uncle. Doesn't. Chavo never had it, never will have it. Sorry.
My response to that is I like Kerwin White.
Me too.
That was the most interesting that Chavo's ever been.
I'll tell you what, when your dad comes in and he overshadows you and outshines you like Chavo Classic did in 04, you have a problem. You have a huge problem.
All right. So next is another tag match. This match was actually cut from night 1. Sheamus and Ridge Holland versus The New Day. This match was 1 minute and 40 seconds.
Should have just canceled this match. Just cancel this fucking thing.
Yeah, another match should have been on SmackDown.
Good. Like, why was this on the show anyways? Like, it did not need to be on the show. I said The New Day can get revenge on Big E, but then they didn't even win the fucking match, so it defeats the purpose of that too.
There also wasn't even a promo. There also wasn't even a promo about doing it for Big E. It's just like, oh, Xavier Woods is back. We're gonna have a match. Big deal. It's not like, you motherfucker, you took out our brother.
Yeah, you broke my brother's neck. I'm gonna fuck you up. I'm gonna shove my foot up your ass.
Instead of it's, you destroyed my ATV.
That's more important than breaking our partner's neck.
Yes, it is.
God damn it. This is fucking just terrible.
And go to his 1 minute and 40 seconds.
Good. It deserved every bit of it.
All right, next. Pat McAfee.
More time talking about the match than it actually was.
That deserved too much time. Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. Fun match. Loved it.
Fun match, man. Pat showed why if they give this man a contract tomorrow that he can outshine anybody on that roster.
I mean, this was Pat's third match, if you count the 2 NXT matches, and he's not failed to impress on any of them.
Like, he gets it. Like it's funny because I said I agree. Like, I was kind of joking as where I said I agree with RJ, but I kind of do agree that Pat McAfee is kind of one of the 4 pillars of WWE. Like, he gets it. Like, he knows how to turn it on, and this is the most animated I've ever seen Michael Cole. Like he was just like, come on, Pat, beat his ass, beat that punk's ass. I'm like, Jesus, Mike.
Outside of when he was the Mrs. Hype Man.
Yeah, I try to forget that happened.
Yeah, but Andrew's got a point though. We haven't seen him this animated since then. I mean, he was on the point of climax, pretty much honestly throughout this whole entire feud.
Like
come on, Pat.
He's basically
save it for Mania.
He might as well be spitting in Vince McMahon's face and flicking him off.
I was expecting, because of how animated he was leading up to it, Michael Cole to turn on Pat McAfee during this match. Especially when he came out, when Pat was standing on the apron. I was like, what the fuck is Michael Cole doing here? It turned out he didn't do anything, but I thought he was going to.
Yeah, but, great match. Loved it. I mean, Austin Theory, again, that's a guy who has a future in this company. Like,
huge Austin Theory guy, yeah.
I've turned the corner on him because, like, the first time I saw him, I was like, he looks like a creator wrestler. And then over time, whenever he joined up with Gargano, I like the way I like those segments because they were silly and cringy, but they were funny, and I loved him. And he showed that he has a personality, that he can be funny, and he also has that face of just like somebody you want to punch. Like he has that just doofus, entitled, millennial douchebag face.
Austin Theory is by no stretch of the imagination an enhancement talent, but he is so naturally talented, like an enhancement talent, that he can make anyone look better in the process. Mm-hmm. And you're right, he has that punchable face, that smarmy heel, that, he's kind of got it all, if you really think about it. And
yeah.
As long as he doesn't do anything stupid, he's got a bright future.
Well, he kind of did do some things back in the day, but I guess they weren't
more holes in that story than plot cheese, man. Come on.
Well, I mean, I'm glad it was bullshit, and I'm glad he didn't get convicted, and that he's not a creep. So
yeah.
But I mean, again, as long as he stays out of trouble, keeps his nose clean, he should have a future.
Yeah, keep his head on straight, and I think the whole him and Vince. That's got to be a lot of pressure, and I know he's got to be thinking, if I fuck this up, this is it. So I think Austin Theory is going to be on his best behavior moving forward.
Yeah.
Right. And after this match, not Austin Theory, but Pat McAfee, was celebrating, and then he looked down at Vince, and I could hear him say, "Get your old ass in the ring." And Vince takes off his shirt, where he's in shape, out of shape guy from Family Guy, like Robert Mitchum, and has a match against Pat.
At least Vince has got some size to him. I haven't seen veins like that in an old man since ever. Holy shit! So
he has a match against. Go ahead.
Let's remember, this man is 76 years old, and you joked about out of shape, in shape, but look at that shape. It's like people say, "I wish I was like that at 76." I'm 44. I wish I was in that kind of shape.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, this match was designed for a reason, because during the match, before the match even started, Austin Theory attacked Pat from behind, and Vince was throwing really bad clotheslines, which, Pat, to his credit, sold the shit out of. And, Austin Theory got involved, and, the referee wasn't going to do anything because it was Vince, so Vince ended up winning the match. There was a point where, like, Austin Theory's music plays, but then you see Vince react to it, and you realize, oh, somebody else is supposed to come out. And it ended up being Austin, Steve Austin. He stuns Theory, which Theory sold the fuck out of that. Like, Jesus Christ.
See him do that plenty of times.
Steve Austin coming out was the most surprising thing that should never surprise me that could ever happen. I just wasn't expecting it, and then, in theory it shouldn't, when you think about it, it's like, well, that's a natural. Steve Austin comes out for that, but didn't expect it, and it's like, wow, that's cool. Yeah, it was pretty cool to see him again. But can we talk about that stunner? Holy shit. My favorite thing is that Mick Foley's son videoed him laughing at that stunner. I don't know if you saw that. But,
oh yeah. Like, so what happened after that was Austin brings some beers and he gives it to Vince, and at first Vince just goes, wait, he takes some sips. Like, it was just funny seeing him take those, like, gingerly sips. And then, Austin stuns him while he's drinking a beer, but Vince just like, I don't know. I don't know if his age or he purposely did it, but he gets kicked in the gut first, and then he goes back into the ropes, and then Austin has to grab Vince and then stun him.
Vince said, "I ain't going down on these old ass knees tonight."
WrestleMania came with a 45-minute advertisement for Broken Skull American Lager.
I actually have that beer. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, they don't have it here yet.
It's 'cause I had the
IPA, and I like it a lot, but I can't get the Golden Lager yet.
I have both. Like the IPA is good, but it's really strong. Like it's really strong, and the lager is actually a lot more smoother. But at the end of the day, I like both. But oh boy,
Good strong IPA was right up my alley.
Like that stoner, boy, oof.
Yeah, it was ugly.
And
Vince historically doesn't take the stunner well, but that was even bad. And even Austin Theory oversold it, not to the level of The Rock, but he definitely oversold it a little.
Like I loved it. I love Vince's for the wrong reasons, but
right.
I love Theories. And then Pat McAfee came in the ring and drank beer and took a stunner. And there was a close up of Pat McAfee on the ground, and he's still drinking beer while he's supposed to be knocked out.
Foaming at the mouth.
Like it was fun. It was nice to see Steve. That was a nice way to get the crowd riled up. So now we have the main event.
I hope we start to see Steve more often now, and I can't wait for his Broken Skull interview with himself.
Well, God, I can't do a Steve Austin impression right now.
But in all seriousness, I would assume that one's coming up with Cody, which you probably can't miss.
Ooh, that's gonna be big. That's gonna be pretty big. Like, I'm pretty sure they're already working on that. All right, so main event, WrestleMania, the biggest WrestleMania event of all time, winner take all match for both the WWE Universal Championship. You have Roman Reigns, the Universal Champion, versus Brock Lesnar, the WWE Champion.
We did.
What?
I said, yeah, we did.
Okay. So I'll say this. So this is the third time that Brock and Roman have faced each other at Mania, in the main event of Mania. I'll say this.
And like the 300th time total.
300 time total. I'll say this. They don't necessarily have bad matches, but you can already tell, you already know in your head how the match is going to go. It's going to be...
You know what to expect.
It's going to be spear, Superman punch, suplex, Superman punch, spear, suplex, Kimura lock, spear, A, B, C, and D. Like, you kind of already knew how the match was going to go. Wasn't necessarily bad, but you're already like, okay, I've seen this movie before. Like, I already know what's going to happen. And during the match, Roman is in a Kimura lock, and Brock, I guess, popped out his arm. Because you hear Roman, telling Paul, it's out, and then you hear Paul, come on, my tribal chief, get up, my tribal chief. And then Roman, it looked like Roman called an audible because he just popped up and Brock was going for an F5, and then Roman gets out of it and goes for a spear, 1, 2, 3, and I'm like, well, that was kind of sudden. And then you found out how, because you see Roman trying to carry both belts, but he's like grimacing in pain trying to carry the other belt. So now Roman is, they're recognizing it as the undisputed Universal Champion, not the unified champion, but just the undisputed Universal Champion. So what do you guys think about the match?
Wait, he can defend one title and they can separate it again, as opposed to having to have somebody go on both shows.
Yeah, that's too much on Roman's shoulders, man. Especially with them getting you got Lashley, you got a couple. See, that's why I wasn't in favor of splitting or putting the belts together, because you got so many different guys that are gonna have to be in meaningless feuds. And WWE ain't that creative. They're not that creative. And you got all these guys that are just gonna be underneath one champion. Like, it's just, and that ain't gonna work out. You got Lashley, you got Brock, you got Seth, Cody, Drew.
And last time they did a winner to take all, Becky lost one of those titles within a month.
But see, with the women, that's different because like there you can only push the best women, which is like what 6 at best.
They should at least have one women's champion because there's a lot of women in the company and a lot of them are not very good. And
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. You push 6 at best. The 4 horsewomen and Asuka and Bianca, and of course Ronda's going to be in the mix, and like, Shayna Baszler after that. So I mean, that's the best you got.
Right.
Carmella and Zelina do suck.
Like, get rid of the the women's tag team titles because nobody cares. Get rid of
and based on what we saw on Monday night between her and Corey Graves, she might be sucking a whole lot of something there, Lightning.
Oh,
I give it 6 weeks.
Well, all they talk about is fucking. Like, on their show, all they talk about is fucking. And I watched a few clips, and I'm just like, where's the fucking? Like, I don't even want to see the fucking, but you're promising me fucking.
Oh.
Ooh, I think Corey Graves uses more hair gel than she does.
It's like on NXT when with the Australians, all they're doing is like talking about fucking. I'm like, okay, when are you guys actually gonna fuck?
Big Persia.
I mean,
oh yeah.
That to me, I like that segment because I don't know. You can imagine it's gonna turn into like Brazzers pretty soon.
Or Dexter Lumis and Duke Hudson are gonna be best friends to go after the tag team titles.
Yeah, I prefer the fucking. I can just imagine, Indy being like, "Oh yeah, well, I bet I can give Duke a better blowjob than you can give the Dexter."
Oh,
the show's going off the rails, but
he's got a really, really big face. Did you notice that? Like, you look to the side where ear should be, and there's just more face. And that way, when someone asks her, "Hey, why the long face?" she's like, "I was born with it."
Aww.
Yeah.
She's a sweetie pie. We'll get to NXT in a bit, but overall, what'd you think about WrestleMania as a whole? What was your favorite match from each nights, and what was your least favorite match from each nights?
Least favorite, Charlotte and Ronda from night 1. Most favorite, tie between Bianca and Becky and Cody and Seth. And Owens, 3-way tie, because I enjoyed all 3 of those matches equally. Night 2, I enjoyed the triple threat tag team match there, the Raw title match, because that's all I saw. And the least favorite match was that Fatal 4-way women's match. I kind of regret that was the last thing I saw on Sunday.
So I gotta say for night 1, it was Cody and Seth Rollins was my favorite match, and much like RJ said, the Ronda and Charlotte was my least favorite. For night 2, also like RJ, that women's tag match was just abysmal. You can't even call the New Day and Rich Holland Sheamus a match because it was so short. But my favorite match, in fact, my favorite match of the whole weekend was the Johnny Knoxville Sami Zayn match. Like I said earlier, it was just super fun, really enjoyable, and that's where I stand.
I think I'm kind of agreeing with you guys. Like night 1, Cody, best match of the night. I also like Bianca and Becky. Least favorite match, Ronda and Charlotte. I think that was more disappointing because you thought those two could have had a really good match, but they just really didn't. I loved Austin and Kevin Owens. That was my third favorite match, or not even really my third favorite match. I think that was my second favorite match. Night 2, the tag match to open the show with RK Bro was really good. Johnny Knoxville's match was just fun. It was just all around fun. Least favorite match, the women's tag team match because it shouldn't have been on the show. No one cares. And I'm going to be bold. I would say the main event really wasn't that great. Roman and Brock.
Yeah, I went back and saw it, and I wasn't impressed.
But overall, I think this was maybe the best WrestleMania I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
Can you guys think of what what was probably the last good WrestleMania?
WrestleMania 31.
Okay.
The one with Bray and Taker and Roman and Brock. Like I thoroughly enjoyed that one through and through.
Yeah, that's fair. I was thinking 30 because it's like that.
Oh, and that too. 30 was good.
It comes immediately to mind because of the Daniel Bryan storyline, the shock of Undertaker ending the Undertaker streak ending. 30 comes immediately to mind. But yeah, no, 31. I'm also thinking the last time I was in Dallas, 32, which was, Shane and Undertaker in the cell. When they combined they changed the Divas to the Women's Championship, and they had the triple threat with Becky and Charlotte and Sasha. Until really like the last 4 or 5 years, they had a good streak of really good WrestleManias going.
Kind of conflicted because I liked WrestleMania 25 primarily for Undertaker and Shawn Michaels,
which I think is the greatest match of all time.
Oh yeah, agreed.
I agree too.
WrestleMania 24 I thought was really good. Shawn and Ric Flair, the "I love you, I'm sorry" and super kicks him. I thought that was pretty good. The WrestleMania before that, 23, with Shawn and John Cena main event in the show, and then you had
that one.
And then Batista and Undertaker were like the fourth match.
And don't forget Trump shaving McMahon's head.
Oh yeah, can't forget about that. So
and then Vince. Do-rag Vince.
I actually have that WrestleMania. I actually have that WrestleMania on DVD. So those are my favorite WrestleManias.
That was, you know what I remember most about that was the next night on Raw, he was wearing the fedora hat, and somebody like pulled it off, and he went between Lillian Garcia's legs,
and then Bobby
Ross goes, "That's no man's land right there."
And then Bobby Lashley like ripped off her skirt, and you just see Vince running around with a bald head. Yeah, it's like I like the vignette leading up to it, where like everybody sees it, and you see Ron Simmons just do the damn, part, and then Vince starts pretending that he's black, which was just weird.
That one too. That was the Hall of Fame where Dusty went in. And it's just kind of funny considering what we've been talking about. And that was the first time we saw Cody.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's two things that came out of that. One was the Cody thing. I was like, wow, I don't know if this guy's a wrestler or not, but man, he can talk. And then a few months later, he debuted. But also, Kurt Hennig went in, and this was before we saw, he turned out to not be anything, but we saw Joe Hennig with the whole family, and he was wearing the Mr. Perfect, studded jacket. And like Larry the Axe was talking, and everyone else was talking, and I'm like, man, this is a great speech, but I can't, this dude on the end looks like he has some presence. And, obviously I expected him to do more when he showed up, and he didn't, but that was just kind of some takeaways in the grand scheme of things from that one, being at that one.
It was funny because Mish and Kevin were doing their show, and Kevin brought up that when Cody first came in, he was actually driving John Cena around.
Yeah.
So, like, the Rhodes name didn't really... Like, it meant something, but it didn't really mean anything for him. It was like, yeah, dude, you're your father's son, but you gotta earn your keep. So it
didn't mean he was gonna get a free pass to run around.
So, like, he's driving around John Cena, he's driving around Randy Orton.
Carrying his bags, shining his shoes. You shine my shoes if I want you to.
CM Punk had to pretend to be a mobster at WrestleMania.
I remember that. Yeah, WrestleMania 20... What is it?
20, he hated
21.
every bit of that, didn't he?
22.
He hated every bit of that. I'm willing to bet.
Oh, yeah. Well, CM Punk hates everything, so it's really nothing new.
When he asked me to be a gangster, I scoffed at Vince and said, I want to rip your throat out. How dare he ask me to do something like that?
I'm CM Punk, damn it. I main evented in the Philadelphia Forum in front of 500 people.
I'm the greatest Ring of Honor champion of all time.
Like, did you know I wrestled Austin Aries?
I was trained by Ace Steel, were you?
I beat Homicide and Samoa Joe and Xavier and Low Key in main event matches for the Ring of Honor title. Have you?
Do you remember my classic matches with Chris Hero?
That's part of the second-rate Ravens flock.
Gathering in TNA.
I think Mickey James was in that too.
Yes, he was. Looking really good. Mickey James.
I remember going to see her when she was training because she's from here. when she was training. She always says she worked at an Olive Garden, but she worked at a strip club.
Really? I mean, nothing wrong with that.
Ain't nothing wrong with that at all. Make your money, mama.
Yeah, I don't judge. Make your money.
She doesn't want to be a role model for little girls saying I worked in a strip club, so she made it Olive Garden.
Oh, boy.
Hardcore country.
Hey, can't you see? Let's talk about Raw for a little bit. We don't have to talk about the whole show, but let's just talk about like the big
One of
piece.
the weaker Raws after WrestleMania.
Yeah, it wasn't really that good of Raw. Let's just talk about, I guess, like the bigger pieces of it. Cody opened the show, and like John Draper pointed out that he didn't think the promo was all that great, or no, he said the promo was good, but the reaction wasn't that great. And I brought up to him like, well, dude, these people have been watching wrestling for 72 hours. Matter of fact, 96 hours, and that's including not just going to WWE events, but I'm pretty sure they went to other shit too. So they're probably
all drawn out for the weekend.
They're like dead. So they're probably trying to force themselves to like react to Cody when they really want to. But I like Cody's promo. Like, it was interesting because he brings up Dusty. He says, that my dad never had a chance to be the WWE champion, and now I have a chance to. So that's my goal, is to be the WWE champion. And he gets a little emotional, but it wasn't like your typical Cody promo in AEW where he's doing his breathy, yelling, screaming, crying thing. But it's nice. It was well done. I liked it. Seth comes out and does the whole laughing thing, and Cody extends his hand as a sign of respect. And then Seth ends up shaking his hand, which I know some people weren't really. They were kind of weirded out there. Like, what was that? That was weird. I looked at it as like Seth has a history with the Rhodes family because, Seth is the first ever NXT champion. And, you see that picture of him holding the NXT title with Triple H and Dusty Rhodes. So he has a history with Dusty. He was with him in FCW. So he loves Dusty. So
do you think this is starting to turn Seth around, baby?
Well, yes and no. I was going to say they're probably going to continue the feud where, like, Seth can say, I love Dusty like a father. I respected him. So, out of respect for him, I shook your hand, but you're not your father. You got to earn that around here. So they can continue that feud, which I'm not going to mind. Which I don't mind. I would love to see that match again.
I have a thought, too, that perhaps, as far as I know, they haven't canceled Season 2 of Cody's reality show. So if that actually does come back, perhaps around that time, they could do something with him and The Miz. With the, concurrent
reality shows.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Does that mean they have to bring Brandy in so she can wrestle Maryse?
You mean Eden Styles?
Oh, yeah, Eden Styles. Oh, please forgive me for getting it wrong.
No.
The great Eden Styles.
A million times over, no.
Oh, what about it? No.
All right, and Kevin Owens came out and talked about the match with Austin. Did the heel thing, like, I was really hurt, but I went out there and I fought anyway because I'm a fighting champion. And then someone's music hit, and on the Titantron it said Ezekiel. So you're like, okay, is this someone in NXT we're not aware of? But then
that's what I first thought. Ezekiel Jackson was back.
This here, what you call domination.
Domination.
It's a combination of fear and concentration. Rise to the occasion. No. Ezekiel comes out. You get a quick look at his face, and you look at his eyes. You go, Elias? Even Corey was like, that's Elias. And then
it took me about 30 seconds to place it because I felt like it was maybe like one of the people who was like 10 years ago in FCW, and I'm like, I think I remember that guy. And then, yeah, in the end,
I thought it was Lucky Cannon.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Lucky Cannon and what was the other guy? Leo Kruger. Leo Kruger made a comeback. Actually, Leo Kruger had hair like that, and he had a physique like that, so that's actually not too far off. I watched enough Leo Kruger enough to know, but yeah, no, this is kind of weird. This is weird. I don't know what the hell they're going for here.
Yeah, like, because I was kind of on the impression of, like, are they gonna bring in Elias to put him in Edge's new group? Like, to have a darker version of Elias? Because that would have been interesting.
Yes, especially considering how he left with the vignettes. Would have made all the sense in the world. Would it not? But nah, this man about to finna do something else.
Oh my god! Another debut in the company. The long-awaited Veer. Veer came out and attacked both of the Mysterios. What do you think about Veer? The debut of the Great Veer.
He came, he saw, he whooped ass, and he left.
You should have just let it kept going and let him go. And so the WCW thing, 83 weeks, he should have gone 84 weeks before debuting.
Like that just would have been funny. That would have been cool. I wouldn't mind that.
You know, the best thing about this guy is his beard game. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's tight.
Like, I want to get this guy's secrets. Other than that, I don't think much of him. Honestly.
Yeah, he's basic. He's a basic big guy.
He got a pop when he came out, though. I will say that.
Well, I also think it's because, like, he's kind of turned into a meme in the past 3 months. So I think people just wanted to see him. And I don't know, he didn't really do anything that, like, made me want to see him again.
He blew ass in his debut.
Somewhat of a celebrity outside of wrestling in the sense that he was the guy that the movie $1 Million Arm was based on.
Oh.
$1 Million
I thought it was his partner.
No, well, there was two guys on that $1 Million Arm was based on. He was one of them.
Okay.
But his partner was, I think, like an MMA fighter.
Oh, okay. That guy's he's more bigger. That guy, what's his name now? Sangha?
Yeah.
Guy's massive.
He's the dude that's with Jinder Mahal now.
I thought that was who's the guy that's with
Stanky. That's Stanky with Jinder Mahal.
Yeah.
Who's the guy
that was with him? No, I'm getting all these things confused.
Grayson
The
Waller?
guy that he was with he was not a he was a kickboxing he was a kickboxer, but he was an actor. Was what he was best known for.
Right. Let's see. Braun Breaker versus Dolph Ziggler in a rematch. Braun Breaker wins the NXT Championship back, which is just odd. Like,
why not have him win it on Saturday?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like, and they didn't even advertise the match. Like, I was in the kitchen getting something, and all of a sudden I just see, coming up next is going to be the NXT Championship. I'm like, what? Like, and then Braun wins it back. Which again, I'm happy that Braun won it back, but I'm like, why didn't they do this on Saturday?
Yeah.
Like,
why didn't he just hold it all this time? What was the point in Dolph Ziggler having it to begin with?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same boat. I'm like, wait, was Dolph coming in NXT really interesting at all? Like,
I think it actually, I do think it helped him. I think it's made him a little bit more interesting in being back with that kind of thing.
I think Dolph needs to be down there a little bit longer. Him and Rude, have them be the bridge to the main roster in NXT. Why not?
I mean, there's a lot of
like for all Dolph's faults, whether it be his own or the company's. Dolph Ziggler is a good worker still, and he's a guy that will make anybody that they want them to down there look like $1 million. And Rude as well. So why not? Why not have those two guys be the bridge to NXT and Raw?
Right. And and then Roman Reigns had his promo, which really wasn't all that great. It was kind of an underwhelming promo because you thought something was going to happen, but then he just comes out and says, find out what's going to happen on SmackDown, and there you go.
Yeah, that was ass.
Let's go.
That SmackDown results in The Rock being there.
My Lord.
Let's talk about NXT for a little bit, and we'll call it a night. Preferably the big news that came out today. So NXT was another weird show. You had Toxic Attraction getting their title match, or getting a rematch for their titles against Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai. Toxic Attraction won, so now they're the tag team champions again, which again, it's like that thing of why. Like, first of all, why did Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota win in the first place? Like, it didn't make any sense. Didn't make sense then, doesn't make sense now. So, again, it's good Toxic got it back because Toxic Attraction, they are the attraction of NXT. They
are.
People like to watch them, not just for their looks, mainly for their looks, but they like to watch them because...
I just wanted to give Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez that moment. But then it's like, let them have it a few more weeks. Unless... bring one or both of them up to the main roster this week.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was on the impression of like, okay, is Stand and Deliver going to be Raquel's last match? Is she going to go to the main roster, which she should be? But it was weird. It was really odd. Let's see the rest of NXT. Nothing really of note. Really, just like matches that are being announced, like Cameron Grimes came out and talked about winning the championship on Stand and Deliver, the North American Championship, and Sol Sequoia came out and challenged him to a match. So they're going to have a match next week. Let's see, MSK did a backstage segment, and then Grayson Waller and I forget the other guy. Who's his bodyguard? Grayson Waller.
Shanga.
That's the dude I was thinking about that used to team with Veer.
Like Shanga says, you don't deserve to be champions. And, we'll take those titles right off of you once my arm is 1,000% healed. And they were going to have a match for the titles next week. We'll get to that in a bit. We'll get to that. The main event ended up being Gunther, Walter, versus Braun Breaker for the NXT Championship. Very good match, as we can imagine. Just like, as Big E would say, two big, meaty men slapping meat. Two guys out there beating the fuck out of each other. Braun just like throwing Walter around like he's nothing, and then Walter chest slapping the shit out of Braun. It was a good match. I very much enjoyed it. What'd you guys think of it?
Fun. It definitely helped to establish Braun Breaker again as being dominant because that's kind of what Gunther has been over the last 3 or 4 years. After the events of the last few days, I was fully expecting to see Gunther win it.
Yeah, you know what? I was kind of thinking that too, because I'm like, okay, Braun just won the title back last night, and now we have new women's champions, even though we already had new women's champions before. So is Walter gonna win the title, and then Braun is gonna head to the main roster? Like, is that what's going to happen? Like, I was like watching because I'm thinking like anything could happen, but it didn't. Like, Braun beat him clean, which I was surprised by, but not really. I thought it was going to be like a fuck finish. Like, I was thinking Dolph was going to come out and super kick one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't expect this one to get a clean finish either, especially since Gunther he just beat LA Knight, which I guess LA Knight's going to show up on Friday, right? Kind of has to at this point, right?
That'd be cool.
One would hope.
Right, because like all of us have been saying, he ain't getting any younger and he's ready for the main roster now. As far as Gunther goes, they just wasted a title match as far as I'm concerned. They wanted Braun to beat an opponent. They should have had him beat somebody else, in my opinion. But hey, what do I know, right?
Yeah, because
you gave Cameron Grimes. You gave Cameron Grimes the title for the feels. He could have very easily lost it this week on Tuesday to Gunther.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after the match, I missed this. I ended up rewatching it on YouTube. But after the match, you see Rick Steiner on the screen saying, "Hey, son, I'm proud of you." And then the camera widens out and you see Joe Gacy, and then what the fuck's his name? Harlan. And
Baby Brock.
He kidnapped Rick Steiner. He has him trapped in a cage and tied up, which I'm just like, okay, like that's random, but okay. So now Braun's next opponent is going to be Joe Gacy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Like Lightning says, okay, that's my reaction. I'm like, okay.
Lucky us.
So let's get to the news.
But that's another experienced guy that Braun can work off of, though.
Yeah, true.
Joe Gacy's been in the business for a long time. So he's been in the business there since I was at fucking middle school. So that's another guy that he can work off of and probably beat. Most likely, he's beating him. And yeah, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with this program.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it should be fun.
He was a CZW all that time. Yeah, he's with Moxley at one point. So,
all right, let's get to the big news of the day. So, Nash Carter of MSK was let go or released. I'm sorry, today after allegations from his former, was it his wife or his girlfriend? Were they married or wife? There you go.
Wife married.
He filed for divorce last week.
Kimberly, I remember she made a tweet a while ago. I can't find the tweet where she was saying that she deleted it, but saying that Nash beat her up, abused her.
Mm-hmm.
So
with it was a photo of a split lip.
There you go. So I have it right here. So she posts, "Hey WWE NXT, this is my face after your tag champ Nash Carter got wasted and hit me so hard he split my lip open. He told me I'm a wrestler, so I'm always marked up. I've hid this for a year and even forgave him, but I can't hide it anymore." And this was posted, I think sometime last week, or like maybe a few days ago, over WrestleMania weekend. And as of today, Nash Carter was released.
She also posted a video of a photo of him in a Hitler mustache doing a Nazi salute, so that didn't age well.
Really?
That's why he really got fired.
Yeah.
That's why he really got fired, in my opinion. That's why he really got fired.
I think it was much like Velveteen Dream in the sense they were looking for a reason to fire him, which they looked because they couldn't just fire him because of the allegations without it being proven. In Velveteen Dream's case, they eventually just said, "Fuck."
You think so though? Because they just put the fucking belts on these guys. Why put the belts on these guys and then advertise a tag team title match for next week when they would just look pining to fire him anyways?
Yeah, that's fair.
To me, that just doesn't make any sense. That's what I'm saying. He got fired for that picture alone.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys think it's like a thing with Enzo in a sense where maybe this is something he brought up to them beforehand, but then when it got leaked, and especially the Hitler one, they had to do something because like. I know
do something to save face.
I know with Enzo had brought it up to him saying, "Hey, this is what happened, A, B, C, and D," and I think in his case they were looking for a reason to get rid of him. With Nash Carter, I don't know his reputation. I don't know if he's a trouble in the locker room, but
they love those kids. That's why they just put the fucking belts on those guys again. And like I said, they just advertised the fucking title match for next week with those guys.
They also
so apparently they were not looking to fucking fire this fucking guy. But I think the only reason why they did was because of that Hitler photo.
They also let them train the what's his name, Logan Paul.
Logan Paul, yeah, exactly.
Ready for the match. But I do think that even since Saturday, there's been a little bit more backlash off of that the company wasn't anticipating. So there's a possibility of that, and then they're like, gosh, I don't know. I do have something that Kimberly posted about an hour ago, since we've been on the air.
Right.
If you don't mind me reading it.
Go for it.
It was on her social media, and basically it looks like she typed it on like the notes section of her iPhone and just put a screenshot up of it. But it says, "A narcissist thinks they have the right to mistreat and hurt you, but you don't have the right to react or stand up for yourself. They're allowed to criticize, voice all their opinions, be rude, cruel, and insensitive, but how dare you point out their bad behaviors or say anything back to them? Their behaviors suddenly become all your fault, and you are crazy, a drama queen, and a horrible person for standing up for yourself and not accepting and tolerating their crap. They never blame themselves or see their own horrific behaviors." But I guess Nash Carter has a new wife or a new significant other who's trying to get Kimberly canceled and fired from Impact and stuff like that.
I don't know. I don't know how. I know how I feel about this. I don't know. I don't.
Tell you what.
Go ahead.
Tell you what, she's had a history of going through men in these indies, and they've all ended pretty badly with the guy that she's been with taking time off and not being around for a while. Case in point, JT Dunn. She was with JT Dunn like maybe I would say like five years ago. And JT Dunn, for anybody who doesn't know, was the tag team partner of Mr. David Starr there. Piece of shit.
No.
And he was a protege of Chris Heroes. And yeah, like there was some rumblings from that relationship when that ended that she was a psycho bitch. And there's been other like wrestlers that she's dated too that also said the same thing in a subtle way. So her track record doesn't look too good. I've never met Nash Carter. I've never met him before, but for all that I can gather is that he's a pretty cool guy, and that this just doesn't seem like something that he would do. So I'm not buying anything this broad's saying right now.
Let me ask you something. Whenever WWE does hire people, whether it's developmental, do you think they do like a background check on somebody?
They should moving forward. But if you remember, she was in WWE a couple of years ago, and she got canned for having a bad attitude.
Well, no. Here's what I was saying, because but WWE is a publicly traded company, so I would have to imagine after the Enzo thing, they learned, okay, we need to look at these. We need to look at everybody's social media. We need to look at their past. We need to ask them straight up, okay, let us know if there's something that you're hiding from us. So that way it doesn't come out on social media and make you look like an idiot. Yeah, and exactly. Yeah, it's just this sucks because these guys look like they're going to be like the Hardy Boys. They're going to be big on the main roster. And now
fucking shit happens.
Now his partner doesn't have a partner.
It's got to be that Hitler thing, because if you look back to Speaking Out, with the exception of Velveteen Dream, which had backlash for a year, and to this day has still never been fully proven. WWE would the only people that WWE released were people that essentially would go on social media and apologize, which was essentially admitting guilt. So
yeah, like Gallagher and Travis Banks and El Ligero and those guys.
But the remaining people that there were allegations against, again with the exception of Velveteen, were not released.
Austin Theory. Who else?
They tried doing the right thing by Velveteen. They kept trying to bring him back, and then there was more backlash, and et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. So, you're right about it being the Hitler mustache deal, but I would not be surprised to find out that they were like, yeah, we got to sort of get ahead of this one, and it's not really fair, and they're up there, and all the things that you said are accurate. But I also think in this day and age, if there is an allegation, it's definitely something that should be taken seriously, regardless how fucking crazy he seems to be.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I just think that maybe an investigation should be done. And I don't know if one was done, or we don't know if one wasn't done, but I just think that a thorough investigation should have been done before at least firing this guy.
Would it surprise you to find out that Bruce Pritchard did a half-ass investigation?
What not is Bruce Pritchard we're talking about here?
Hey, he books the show half-ass. What are you talking about?
Exactly. Half-ass is his speed, man.
Oh, good. You guys brought up Velveteen Dream. We got a little bit until we get cut off the air, but the Velveteen Dream thing came out last week where I screenshotted his Instagram story where he said,
"Oh, he wants to come back."
Despite trashy and unsavory allegations against me that I have beat, I'd still like to have a career. With NDE at WWE NXT. I was never guilty, and I got a hell of a lot of talent. I'm only 26, LFG. I'm ready to go the show what it should be. Jesus Christ.
If you say the E, that's what AEW fans call WWE to knock it. So there's that.
Yeah, the E and E drones and all this other stuff.
I gotta say with him, I kind of side with him because he never did anything. He never did do anything. But the same token, I remember talking about this with RJ like fucking like 2 years ago, where like after these allegations come out, after you saw his entrance, you're like, this is a little fucked up. Like this whole gimmick of him pretending to be Prince, but he's not really Prince, is kind of weird. Like it just makes him even look more creepy.
Yeah, especially when he came back with that blonde beard and the hair and everything. He just looked even more weirder.
So
it just looked weird. And then him like popping up, surprising behind people, Predator style. Like it did not. It's just some of the antics. He should have cut down on some of the antics after a while.
He would be bringing him back anytime soon. Not saying they would never bring him back, but anytime soon would be akin to putting Chris Benoit in the Hall of Fame. It would be caught with the same level of backlash, is what I'm saying.
I don't know, because Chris Benoit actually did it. Like
Benoit actually did it. We have documentation and proof that he did it.
Despite the fact that we have no proof that Velveteen did it, the public perception is more important than the truth.
Oh, fuck public perception. I mean, it is mostly people online who just don't understand how law and all the other stuff works anyways.
Yeah, WWE seems to think that that the internet makes up for 100% of the fans, when in actuality it makes up like 10%.
Exactly, because those people are the same people that whine and bitch, but they're not dipping into their pockets to buy the T-shirts or tickets or the pay-per-views anyway. So it's just like, and you want to know how I know this? Because I'm in group chats with a lot of them, and I ask these questions all the time, and they all admit to me, no, they don't do this. And in fact, somebody took it through in my face the other day that I watched Wrestlemania for free.
Those guys aren't buying Lily dolls.
Yeah, they're not buying Lily dolls. Hell, I don't even think they would even buy an Alexa Bliss blow-up doll. But that's just me.
The guy that used to do my show with me, he has an Alexa Bliss stand-up cardboard standee in his house.
Oh boy. That's a nice way to end the show.
I mean, hey, he's who they want. He's buying their shit.
I mean, I can't argue with that.
How about that Scott Hall shirt they came out with, where all the other members of the Clique are doing the point at him?
There you go.
Did you see that one?
No, I didn't.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. It's on WWE Shop. I was like, that's neat. It's too bad it's just WWE putting it out. So I pay probably $20 more than I should have, but still.
But anyways, guys, again, Andrew, appreciate you for coming on. RJ, appreciate
you.
You.
Want to talk about the funny stuff?
Oh yeah, we can talk about that for a little bit. She got into a car accident, right? Or not a car wreck a while ago, and the guy that was in the wreck ended up dying because of injuries, right?
Yeah. She's they did a blood report, but they think that she was inebriated. Shocking. Sunny is my favorite train wreck.
Not Sunny, not Tammy. Tell me it's not Tammy.
She killed a 75-year-old man who could have been her next husband.
Why is this?
We all know I'm not in contention for that spot.
This
$20 is $20.
This twat will forever outlive everybody. She's outlived Chris Candido. She's outlived Benoit. She's outlived Guerrero. She's outlived Test. She's outlived Macho Man, Roddy Piper, Dusty Rhodes, Scott Hall. She's going to be the last. She will want to be the last one standing out of everybody.
In a nuclear war, there'll be nothing left but mosquitoes and whores.
I'm still alive, sweethearts.
You want to see my busted vagina? Ugh.
Get inside. Get inside these sugar walls, baby.
She's not even hot. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not.
Are you sure, RJ? You don't want to get inside my vaginas?
Oh hell no, no. I seen your porn flick, and it was just not good. not good.
No, I just got my microphone wet.
Oh, jeez.
Because you're talking about Sonny?
Anyways, that's the show, guys. Angie KARLUK, appreciate you for coming on, brother. Go ahead and
Yeah, for sure, anytime.
go ahead and tell the people where they can find you.
Well, I'm still determining if I'm going to be bringing False Count Radio back, but stay tuned to, we have a YouTube channel, which I'm still trying to get some interviews and stuff like that, so minimally I might do some of those. And the Instagram at False Count Radio.
All right, RJ.
Follow me on Twitter at LowRJUnlimited, where nothing is limited, man. See whatever the hell I want to say, just how I want to say it, and if you don't like it, block me, bitch. I don't care. And that's it, man.
That's a great way to put it. You already know where to find me. I'm easy to find. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can find my show anywhere where podcasts are distributed, like Google Podcasts, iTunes. I'm back on Spotify. I'm mainly on Spreaker. I also do a Patreon. I have a Patreon with Mr. RJ right over here. We do our own show. It's called Revenge of the Savage Nerds. I do one with Jeff Littman called From Our Lips to Your Ears. I do one with Ruben Prime called Worst of the Worst. We haven't done one in a while. We need to start getting some of those out. We're working on it. Guys. We will get them out. And it's only $5 a month. $5 will get you all this shit. And $5 goes a long way. It helps.
Yeah.
It helps improve the show. It helps me. It gives me the ability to buy more equipment. Maybe open up more tiers. Maybe even give out some prizes. Who knows? But yeah, just go out of your way, guys, to look at the Patreon. Just $5, and also another thing you can do. It's free. You can go to iTunes and leave a review for the show, a review and a rating. That's all you gotta do. And same thing on Spotify. I think Spotify has the same thing going. But anyways, guys, appreciate you for listening, and hope you guys enjoyed Wrestlemania. I know it was a long week, but anyways, guys, take care, and most of all, peace.